Welcome to the Pop-Off with Gene FitzMagic and friends. Your daily sports and entertainment radio show, live all over the world. You're going to want to hear what these guys have to say. With their hot takes, recaps, previews, and predictions, sometimes these guys might get along, but most times, they won't. So see what happens when these guys pop off about the world of sports and entertainment.
Good afternoon, everybody. It is April 18th. It is Tuesday, and this is the Pop-Off Show. I am Gene FitzMagic. I am joined by Ali Melendez, Matt Hamilton, and Katrina Johnson today. Dominic Lewis will be it seems like he's running a little late, or he's having some internet issues. I know he's been having some internet issues lately. That might be him right now. Is that him, Patty? You can plug him right in if it's him. And it is him.
Whole crew. Liking it.
There we go. We did a fifth window today. So we have a little bit extra help today. How is everybody doing?
Just peachy. I'm recovering from Vegas this weekend.
You live in Vegas, so I can only imagine there's a lot of recovery.
Yeah, well, I don't claim Vegas unless you're the IRS. So
Good point.
This was a party weekend, no work involved, and I'm still recovering.
What were some of the highlights? Because I'm just curious. 'Cause I love Vegas.
My favorite part was probably Tao Beach Day Club. Alessa was the DJ, and I finally fit in a bikini, so I was excited. And I drank a whole bottle of champagne by myself before the DJ even went on, and the rest is a blur.
A little may or may not have happened. Katrina was possibly going to join us on a Friday episode. I confirmed it Thursday. She was like, you know what? I'm doing Vegas tonight. I'm probably not going to be awake. So I
was not awake. So yeah.
So I'm probably not going to make it. So we didn't have Katrina on that day, but it would have been a bonus day anyway. So, but Ali, you got some big news on Long Island. Can you tell us about it?
Oh my goodness. Well, I love that you're hyping it up so much. So my family's been in the restaurant business for 40 plus years. And my grandma kind of taught us all, gave us the ropes, and my aunt and uncle just opened their second location for the Taco Tuesdays, which started as a truck in Long Beach, if you're familiar with the Long Island area, and then became, a storefront in Freeport. And now they have a big store opening with alcohol, liquor license, the whole thing. So I'm really excited for them. I'm not just plugging them because their family. I also really enjoy their food, and how could I not? It's my grandma's recipes for everything. So check them out. Taco Tuesdays in Freeport. Their grand opening is this Friday, next Friday, April 28th. Yeah, I don't even know what day it is. So
I might have to make a trek out to Freeport. I'm not that far.
Yeah,
from
man. Tacos
and some cerveza.
Exactly. All the good things. That's what dreams are made of.
There we go. So how we doing, Matt and Dom? How you guys doing?
I'm alive and well, back from vacation.
Gloomy Vancouver.
Back to gloomy Vancouver. Yeah, man, just chilling out, kind of like factory reset on everything. Like, let's take off the booze for a bit. Let's, that whole thing after a vacation. So that's the mode I'm in. So
a little cleansing.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah, sometimes that's needed. And Dom, sorry about your Dodgers last night. Got beat by the Mets 8-6. Sorry about that. It's all right. You don't care. You're already over it?
No, until we make bullpen moves, it's
irrelevant.
Pointless talking about it.
I hear you. Well, your Clippers are off to a good start. Although you're not. Like, we spoke about the Clippers, and I texted him after the game. I'm happy for him. Like, I'm rooting for the Clippers for Dominic, right? So I go, hey, Dom. I was like, hey, big win. He goes, yeah, I get. Like, he was like, you might as well have lost. You were like, I guess we'll see what happens. Like, you'll be excited. You're still being more on the road.
The gentleman's sweep is still on the table. So until that's not a thing, then
I get you.
I need to stay even keeled. I can't get too high on this.
Listen, you stole one on the road. You stole one on the road. You do your job at home. You win the series in 6. Right? You stole one on the road. So you can is splitting it home on the road.
You got a Superman game out of Kawhi.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's good.
We need 3 more of those.
Yeah.
And Westbrook almost got into a fight at halftime with a fan. We'll talk about that a little later on. But first, let's
let's talk about it later.
Let's talk a little headlines. What do we got in the headlines today? The first one we got is Kings go up 2-0, beating the Warriors 114-106.
Is this expected? What's going on here? Like,
I gotta tell you, I know it's a 3 seed. Sacramento is the 3 seed. I get it. Are we still a little surprised to see Golden State go down 2-0? It's the first time in the Curry era that he's been on a team that's been down 2-0, which is crazy.
Interesting.
Because
the first game, it's like, okay, he made the shots, but he just missed it. It was so close. And now it's like, all right, unfortunately, like, so happy for the Kings even to make it this far, especially all the fans feeling that energy the first game. Then game 2, you're like, okay, it's going to be Warriors. I don't know. I mean, it's still early in the series. I just, I'm kind of surprised. I'm not mad. I want the Kings to do well. But yeah, I'm just definitely surprised. So we'll see.
Matt, what was your take on that Draymond Green stomp?
He's an idiot. But
Dribble, but to be fair, Sabonis did Greg as well.
I get that. Hold on, team. If you ask me a question, let me go on it. So I get it. He held up, and in the heat of battle, it's annoying if you're like trying to run, and it's like I get the little kick, but Draymond is like, that's a smart play by Sabonis, because if he gets suspended for a game, that's huge because Draymond's playing really well. He's such a volatile moron, and he's pacing around and talking to the camera while they're reviewing it. It's like he's fucking unhinged, man.
Yeah.
Yes, buddy, you're in the playoffs. You could have cost your team a title a couple years ago when you kicked LeBron in the nuts and got suspended for a game. Either way, I like it because someone called the Kings, and I'm enjoying it. However, you're never in trouble till you lose at home. So, still a long series, long to go. But Jordan Poole, they're not going to win unless if Jordan Poole's their $30 million kid scoring 3 points a game.
Yeah, he's got to do better than 1 for 7 from the field. I mean, off the bench. Had a big game for game 1, 17 points. Did not follow it up with a good game this time. Davion Mitchell, though, hit a couple of those threes with about, I think he hit that 3 with like 118 left to kind of clinch the game.
That was big.
That was the shot of the game. And that's the difference, I think, is the bench, right? The bench outscored for Sacramento. They outscored Golden State 36-21. And you're getting it from people you don't really expect to hit those big shots. Who was expecting Davion Mitchell to be like the big clutch guy of game 2 in the playoffs? No one's expecting that. Jordan Poole, you might expect it from on the Warriors side. You expect him to make some plays down the stretch. Also, Monk hit 18 points off the bench too. So their bench was, that was the only 2. I think only 3 people off the bench scored, but they scored in double figures. So therefore, I don't know, man. Golden State's got to do something. I think, correct me if I'm wrong. Do we feel that Wiggins is better coming off the bench than it is starting?
Well, who are you going to start for? He's like the primary wing defender.
All right. Well, he missed. How many games did he miss? Don't you think right now we got to
play 2 games?
But that's what I'm saying. Like, don't we need to bring him back into the fold a little slowly? Bring him off the bench. Let him get his legs under him. He's missed so much time.
I don't disagree with that. But at the same time, he's one of your star players. You're going to throw him out there. And for his defense at the moment over his offense. But yeah, I'm not surprised the Kings have gone up 2-0.
Really?
No, not at all. They're legitimate. De'Aaron Fox is a stud. They're at home.
Some big shots.
They're lighting the beam. I love it. But the big test is you got to go to Oracle and steal one.
Can they do it? Can they win a game 3 or game 4?
They can. I don't think they will. That place is that's hard. That is hard to play there.
Yeah, we're due for a game where Curry blocks out and goes 54 and hits 11 weird ass threes, and Klay Thompson goes nuts. And
again, Curry has yet to really go nuts in this series, right? He went 9 of 20. He finished with over 20 points. Don't get me wrong. But he shot 9 of 22, 21, 22. Yeah. I think he was 5 of 16 from 3-point. So he was
3 of 13 from
3 of 13.
That's
there
not
you
good.
go. No, that's what I'm saying. It's not typical Curry. So if he had a half decent shooting night, this is a different game possibly. And if Draymond doesn't get ejected, but you don't. Let me ask you a question. I know it's smart move. Sabonis though, should he have gotten thrown out of the game too because he caused it? You don't think so?
He got the tech.
He got the tech, but he did cause. We can't show the replay here, but he did try to step out of it. I wasn't really. If Draymond wanted to stomp on his chest, he would have stomped on his chest. It really was him just trying to step over him, I thought, and it kind of came down on him.
No, stop it. Stop it. He knew exactly what he was doing.
Is my Warrior fandom showing? Is my Warrior fandom showing?
And then I think he realized mid-stomp, he was like, oh, wait, I shouldn't have done that. And then like faked as if he was trying to jump over the top of him. It was so lame. He's such a dick.
His quote after the game was, I'm not that flexible. I can only stretch my foot out too far and so far, and therefore I had to put my foot down.
He's full of shit. He's full of shit.
He's full of shit.
Idiot.
All right. I really was hoping that was.
No, I hope he gets suspended.
Dom, 2 against 1, you're out. Sorry.
You think?
Gene, 2 against 1.
You think there's a suspension in the works?
I hope so.
Matt?
Probably not, but I hope so.
With his reputation, it honestly would not surprise me. He got, I don't know. In the way Sabonis talked about it after, it made it seem like it wasn't that big a deal. Like he got like a little winded heel or whatever it was, and it's like whatever. You move on. It's all good.
They still did X-rays on his chest though.
Yeah, so, they're worried about his lungs. Supposedly, I feel like they're just trying to grandstand a little bit right now. Like Mike Brown.
Maybe, but if you've ever broken ribs before, fuck, it sucks, dude. It is the worst. He obviously doesn't have broken ribs because you know if you have broken ribs.
Yeah.
But any kind of contusion there or any bruise, it does not feel good.
Katrina, do you want to see him suspended? Draymond Green, keep him. Right?
No, I'm with you. Keep him in.
I think
it's fun to watch.
Allie, suspension?
I don't want to see it happen. I also don't feel like it's going to happen. I mean, he got ejected. Like you said, I feel like they're just kind of filling in space and time and being like, well, he wasn't flexible, this, and this. And I think he's going to be back in. And I think Matt said it well. We know he's unhinged. Like, that's just his nature. So they know that too. It's not a secret. I don't know. But no, I don't want to see him.
Yeah, I think the ejection's enough. I think that's enough.
Too.
Get him out. Go back to your
Get him back in. Like, that's
Don Lewis.
Players run the NBA, not anybody else.
I do. I've hated the Warriors for a long time. I hate everybody that isn't the Clippers. That's how you should be as a fan.
You know what? That's fair. That's what it was like in the 90s.
Yeah.
Anyone that remembers basketball in the 90s, teams hated each other.
Yeah.
It wasn't until like this last generation.
I take soccer for people that don't know what actual football is. I take soccer hooliganism and apply it to basketball. So.
Do you say hooliganism?
Yeah.
I love it. I love hooliganism.
There's a video of me. I got like seats behind the bench once. I had season tickets for a while. And it's against the Rockets, and we went up 3, and everyone's like, yeah, this is great. And I'm like, come on! Like, we have it saved at home. It's pretty awesome.
We need to see that here now on air.
I know. We need to get a clip of that. Please get us a clip. All right. Let's move on to this. Sorry, Allie, we got to do it. We got to talk about that. 76 is going. It says 2-9. It might as well be 2-9, but 2. That's a typo. 96-84.
Women's empowerment hoodie on. So
I'm gonna let Allie start with this one because that's the team she represents. There is down 0-2.
Yeah. I mean, look, it was a close first half, and then I had to turn it off because I kind of knew what was happening and what is unfortunately expected of this team right now. I love them. I'm still gonna root for them, but I do see them winning at least one at home. The Brooklyn Energy. I mean, there's always the home advantage, but the Brooklyn Energy that I'm so familiar with, I do feel like will kind of be that extra oomph that they really need. Beyond that, do I see 2 wins at home? I'd kind of be surprised. So we'll see what happens. I had to shut it off like halftime. Just like this isn't like the team that hopefully I don't know, we'll have next season. And not to say that there's anyone that needs to be traded out. It's just like after what we've gone through this season, I don't know. We need even more changes, I think. So
Ken Johnson
all the way. I can see Sixers coming out of the East. I mean, we'll see what happens. Again, like I said yesterday, Joel Embiid being MVP, that's something I still back, even though I'm just not a Philly fan by any means. But in this series, of course, they're coming out strong, and of course, they're coming out on top.
I'll tell you what, as a New Yorker, there's 2 types of fans New Yorkers hate most, and it's Philly fans and Boston fans. And I think Allie can agree with that. She's a New Yorker.
I don't mind Boston fans. It's like Philly fans are tough. They're tough.
They're the worst. Philly fans are the worst. They're the worst. But wasn't it the Philly fans that cheered when Michael Irvin almost got? They thought he might be paralyzed. It was the Philly fans that cheered that, right? So
yeah, it was.
Philly, you're a disgusting city. If it wasn't for your cheesesteak,
Oh my God.
we would never visit. So Philly, go to hell. But listen, they actually played decent. The Nets. I thought Cam Johnson had a decent game. I think he finished with like 28 points. But you know what? I here's where I thought what one, because like Matt, if I go to you, I go, listen, Harden and Embiid are going to combine for only 28 points. You would sign up for that as a Net fan, no?
Yeah, probably. Although I think that the thing that 76ers have been able to do is win without Harden.
Yeah, he's too streaky this year.
Yeah. The thing is, it's just they have no one that can stop Embiid. Like, they have a team full of, they have so many wings on that team. I'm actually really surprised they didn't make a deal at the deadline and trade some of their wings to teams that needed it. Cleveland could use another one. But yeah, they're just kind of, unfortunately, they're just outgunned. Like, Maxey was really good last night. But
really good. I mean, he was the player of the game.
Yeah, Embiid they're not going to be able to stop Embiid. And although I do like moving forward, I do like a lot of the Nets pieces. Allie's right; they do got to make some changes. But Bridges is a baller, man. Getting him in that Durant deal,
great. Yeah.
Getting him in that Durant deal was huge. So yeah, I think it's like 5. What did I say? I can't even remember what I said before the
I think you took Philly in 5.
Yeah, so I'm still kind of with that.
Dom.
Yeah, I can see.
What do you think? Maxey, 33 points, hit 6 3-pointers.
Yeah, he was big. I mean, offensive rebounds. If you're up in that category, you're nearly always going to win the game. Second chance points, and defensive rebounds, it's like almost double. So they hammered them on the glass. Yeah, I can't remember what I said. Whether I thought it was sorry,
I think
it was a sweep or not. I can't remember. I think I said generally sweep. Can't remember. Yeah, I mean, even Nets fans know the Sixers are coming out of that.
Tobias Harris also had a big game, and then you know what? Where you might have stopped Embiid scoring, he did have 19 boards. I mean, that's not the season. So he did have a game. He just didn't put up a lot of. He only scored 20 points, which I feel like if you held Embiid to 20 points, it's pretty good. Harden only had 8 points. I mean, who thinks you're gonna hold a Harden to 8 points, even as streaky as he's been?
Wow. It happens in the playoffs, actually. So
it's actually it's part of his MO, I guess, right?
Yeah.
I think to me, Maxey won this game. He was the clutch guy. Tobias Harris of the 2 stars of this game for them. I don't know. I really would love to see Brooklyn make it a series, maybe win 2 in Brooklyn, and then and then the best of 3, and we'll go from there. Can they do it? I don't think so. I mean, what are the odds they pull 2 games in Brooklyn?
1 in a million.
1 in a million. That's the answer I thought I was going to get. There you go. All right, let's switch it over to some Hollywood news real quick. John Leguizamo on exploring Latin history with MSNBC's Leguizamo Does America. We excited to see this. Allie.
Yeah, I like him. Why not? Not much to say. Sure, good actor.
It's going to be
something that you watch for him. He's not like a head honcho, but I like him.
He's been a big history buff as far as Latino history in America. It's going to be streaming on Peacock. It's going to be on MSNBC, and it's going to be a docuseries where they go through, was it New York, Chicago, Miami, LA, DC, and Puerto Rico. I think this is going to be who doesn't love John? I mean, can we all agree that John Leguizamo is great?
He's awesome.
He can do drama, he can do comedy, he can do everything. He can even do Christmas movies, as Dom will attest to. So he was in
He's so nice as well. I met him on the red carpet. He's the nicest guy. He's so
seems
sweet.
genuine. Like he's, as they say, like you don't want to meet, your celebrity crush or whatever because they'll be an asshole. I feel like he's actually someone you would want to meet.
He's
so is he your celebrity crush? We haven't.
Are we getting
you know what? I feel like Gene knows every time we talk about like a movie star or something, I will comment either something negative or positive or be like, I would. And my fiance's like, what, babe? Did you need something? I'm like, get out of here.
I'll tell you what. He threw. I remember when Violent Night came out. I was posting stuff out of support for Dom. Dom did the music to Violent Night, and John Leguizamo liked it. And I remember I ran to my wife. I was like, "Look, John Leguizamo liked one of my posts." Like I felt like special. So shout out. Not everybody says that, but thank you. I appreciate it. So not even my mom thinks that.
I'm excited. This is his passion project. He's been trying to get this one launched for like years. So I think it's going to be great. I think he's exciting. I think he's going to be funny, and I'm down to hear what he has to say.
Yeah,
he's championed his. Oh, sorry, Allie.
Oh no, you're good.
He's been a big champion of like Latino representation and Latino history. So I think it's like a perfect fit.
It is. And again, you couldn't be from everything you hear, all accounts. Dominic can tell you as well. Everything he comes across as just a super nice guy. So hopefully this does well. I know I'll be watching it myself. So there's that. Leonardo DiCaprio not dating his friend Bradley Cooper's ex, Irina Shayk. Katrina, what do you think?
Yes. I mean, I don't see why it's such a big deal. Everybody's homie hopping these days. Give the girl a break. I mean, this is a big step up from when she was with Kanye. So, I mean, I wouldn't fault her if she was with Leo, but we all know, quite frankly, she's too old for Leonardo DiCaprio. So
yeah, she's not a teenager anymore. So
yeah, so this is fake news. Also, she's a mom, so it's not even true. They were just hanging out at Coachella getting cozy. But allegedly, they've been friends for so long, and she also had a friend with her, another model friend. So maybe he was trying to do the twofer action. I don't know. But allegedly, it was just friends hanging out at Coachella, not actually snuggling, just kicking back, watching the show together, taking in the after party. So,
well, if she's 35 and her friend was like 15, that's 25. So it's good. That's exactly
what averages out.
Yeah, that totally works. Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta figure, like, has Leonardo ever dated a woman that was in her 30s?
Like, I don't think so.
Probably never, right? Like, right? I mean, his age is like 21, just barely, right? And that's the age group. So, and didn't they date once before? Am I misremembering this? Didn't they date previously?
I don't know, but I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, she's drop dead gorgeous. I think any of us would date her.
I would. She could get it. Yeah.
Absolutely. Talk about celebrity crush. And,
Arena, go to Vegas. Katrina's got you.
Yeah. So it wouldn't surprise me. I feel like they've all, because there's such a small group of like the 1%, they've all been getting cozy, like we always read in headlines with each other and it's like the same group. Like they're all swimming.
They're all swimming in the cesspool.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised. It makes sense if they did.
Everybody's got Kanye sloppy seconds.
Oh, that's rough. That's rough pumpkins.
When you put it like that.
I'm keeping it real.
So, guys, let's get into one of our debatable topics. Which NBA team is under the most pressure this postseason? There's a lot of players, I think. We talked about with players at one point, but what team is under the most pressure? Let's go around. Matt, what would you say is the team with really the most pressure on them to go deep into the playoffs this year?
The team with the most pressure?
Yeah.
Good question. Probably the Lakers.
You think so? Even at 7?
Well, yeah, because this is it for they're running out of time for this, and they have no assets or picks moving forward. Yeah. So unless they get some miracle, I don't know what, they're gonna head into the dark ages sooner rather than later. So, and you got age 38 LeBron, who is showing major signs of wear and tear. Although he's still awesome when he wants to be. Yeah. He's a little lazy on D, but he's fucking 38, man. So it makes sense. And Anthony Davis, I don't ever know if he's going to finish a game without breaking something on his body. Every 5 minutes, he looks like he's like, oh, someone looked at his ankle and he's limping.
Yeah.
He plays like he's LeBron's age. He looks like he's always hobbling. He's always looks like he's everything wincing. He's always wincing.
But when he's healthy, he's he's awesome. This was a nice comeback year for him. He was awesome. Yeah. But I think that just in terms of their window is closing. I don't think it's I think the Warriors have built up so much goodwill. Even if they got bounced in the first half or in the first round, I don't think it would be that big a deal.
Yeah. I don't think there's pressure on the Warriors.
Yeah. Boston. Or you know what? I'll throw Phoenix into the mix too, just because.
I was going to say the Suns.
Yeah, Chris Paul.
I was going to say I was gonna say if we were healthy, if the Clippers were healthy,
If that's a big if.
He's not, and there would be the most pressure on the Clips because
I agree.
It would have been this year or bust, I think.
Yeah.
But now he's out. I think that pressure moves to our opponent, and it's on the Suns because if they can't figure it out, I would dance through the streets naked if we got out of this, which no one wants to see, but I'd have fun.
I would like to see that.
Yeah, I'd like to see that too.
I would put my glasses on for that.
A bunch of clips of just Dom doing
also some hooligan shit,
naked and
dance moves.
Yeah, all the things.
All right, well, let's see if we come out of this series. Not promising anything, but if they were to get bounced by us, that would be. Katie would look so stupid.
Yes.
I feel like the Suns and the pressure is if we were going to pick a player, then the pressure's on KD, especially after that first game. If he doesn't come out and score 40 in game 2, people are going to be asking questions because you can share the ball, you can facilitate your teammates, but you're Kevin Durant. You gotta go get the basketball. You gotta score it. I know you got Book. I know you got CP. CP looks kind of old. He'll probably have a game where he just plays out of his skin. Yeah. But Katie's got to step up, and the pressure's on the Suns, I think.
So if Phoenix loses game 2 at home, series over?
No, because we're not that reliable at home.
You just don't want to say it because you don't want to jinx it. I get that.
No, I'm being honestly. This is all. I'm not. If you want me to speak from the heart, I will. But no, from my head, it's not over because we're not that strong at home. We've never because it's not really our home. It's never felt like home. We're playing.
Would you say then at that point, if the Clippers go up 2-0 with winning the 2 games on the road, would the pressure then be on the Clippers to finish it out?
No, I don't think so. I think you're playing with house money at that point.
Okay. I can see that. Typically, I think that's really what you would look at. But I also think that there's also with a young team, I feel like I would look at it that way. With a veteran team, I think I could look at it like, okay, it's not house money because they won on the road, but these are veterans that should be able to win at home as well. Do you know what I mean? So I almost feel like with a veteran team, I might look at it like maybe a little bit more pressure because now they got to close it out. If they don't, it's a collapse.
That's the Sixers again. There's pressure on them. There's pressure on Embiid. There's pressure on Rivers. To not blow massive leads in playoffs. So my 1 pick would be Suns. My 2 pick would be Sixers for pressure.
See just because MVP, it's going to be, I think Joel Embiid, it could also probably also go to Chris Paul, who's deserving of it. So I feel like just having them on the teams, there's a lot of pressure, but also with KD, I know that, like you said, with AD, it's similar where when he's healthy, he's so good, but we know that also getting a little up there with age. I feel like a lot of times in Brooklyn, he just was there, but wasn't there. So I don't know if he took that mentality to the Suns, but I feel like there's a lot of pressure on them too. So I also agree that it's between the Sixers and the Suns, having the most pressure. For sure.
See, the reason why I don't put it on the Sixers or even the Celtics in the East as much is because I feel like the Bucks are that good. I think the Bucks are that much better than every other team that I think the Celtics don't need to really. The Celtics may be pressured to get to the Eastern Conference Finals. I don't think they have pressure to get to the finals because I don't think they're better than the Bucks. I don't think we can fault them if they lose to the Bucks. And same with the Sixers. I don't know if the Sixers get past the second round just because they have played so up and down at times. And Dominic will tell you from all those years of watching Doc Rivers coach, you can't really trust him in a big game. Sometimes he blows games that you just can't imagine what he would even blow as a coach. So I don't really put my pressure on the Sixers. I think in theory, maybe. I will put some pressure on the Cavaliers. The big trade with Donovan Mitchell. I think maybe there's a little bit of pressure on them to make sure that trade was worth it. Although if he scores 50 points a game in the series and they still lose, is that really his fault? I don't think so at that point. But where I put my pressure on is Denver, the number 1 seed in the West. They have good teams year after year after year. They've had these great teams. Jokic has won the MVP about 1 million times. It's one of those things where I think they need to really make a big run. And I think if they look, even if you go back to the Carmelo days, they had great teams back then, but they could just never get over the hump. They never got past that Western Conference final. I think this is a team that needs to make the finals. What's the thought on Denver? Nobody thinks there's any pressure on Denver being a number 1 seed, never really making it that far into the postseason. Not for a really long time, at least. No pressure on them, Matt.
I just don't think anyone takes them seriously as a number 1 seed.
Neither do I. I've said that, but that's why I think there's pressure on them.
I think more people would be scared of playing the Lakers than they would.
I would.
Denver.
I'd be more fearful of playing them. I'd be more fearful of playing the Suns, the Clippers. There's probably a good half the teams in the Western bracket. I'd probably be fear more than Denver. And maybe I'm being silly.
I think there's more pressure. I think there's less pressure on the team of Denver to get there. I think there's more pressure on Jokic. Just because the NBA is all about like kind of legacies. That's how do you be remembered and how many titles did you win? Like MVPs are great, but if you don't win a title, that's something that kind of hangs over you, especially during your MVP years. And like he's going to finish the top 3 in voting for MVP this year, and Embiid's going to win it, but he's going to finish top 3. And eventually, like this window is going to close.
Yep.
So if you don't win a title during this, I don't know. I think for Jokic, there's more pressure than it is Denver.
That's fair. And maybe that's really where I'm even looking at it. Really, when I really break it down, that bit might be where I see it. But Katrina, what about you think? What's your thoughts on Denver?
I think Jokic is beautiful. I think he can do no wrong.
Okay.
I would propose. I think they're going to be fine. Also, nobody expects anything from them, so it doesn't really matter. Personally.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was going to say, I personally don't expect anything from the Clippers. No offense.
Oh, Dom.
No offense. I don't think they're good away or at home. No
what
offense.
if Paul George was in, though? Would you feel?
I would feel like they're not a threat.
Even with Paul George healthy. What about you, Allie? Paul George healthy, are they the team to worry about?
I mean, they're holding their own without him. So, like with him, obviously they'd just be more at an advantage. I still don't think there'd be much pressure on them, especially with him. There'd be less pressure. So,
see, I would think there'd be more pressure. You have
another star that you're supposed to. I don't care about the Nuggets. I don't know why. I don't like
they're paper tigers to me. I feel like the Nuggets never really do anything
crazy. They're nothing special for me.
Nobody cares about them.
Go back to even the Carmelo days. They had a lot of good teams during the Carmelo days, and they never made it to a finals. They never really were tough in the playoffs. They maybe made it. I think they made it to the Western Conference Finals once. They never are a team that scares me. I think if they get you get me another scorer over there. Then maybe with Jokic, Murray, and adding another solid Robin, maybe they're like one Robin away. Because I think Jokic could be as obviously he's an MVP. He's obviously the Batman. You get me a second Robin to pair up with Murray, and I think then maybe that's a really dangerous team. But until then, I don't know. I don't even know how they win so many games. Like there's one of those things when you look up at the standings, you see they're in first place. You're like, wow, I didn't realize they were that good. So.
I think Malone is a really good regular season coach.
Fantastic coach. That's a good point. That is a good point.
I think when it comes down to the playoffs, something happens to him and he gets all flustered, and he doesn't have that clutch coach gene. Although maybe he'll prove it this season. We'll see. They look really good. I mean, they're dispatching of the Wolves pretty easily.
We'll see.
So, I mean, not that the Wolves are a threat right now. They're just like all over the place. And Gobert was back and they were worse.
Well, let me ask you a question. I know the Wolves beat OKC, but if OKC would have pulled that game out, does OKC give Denver a tougher series than Minnesota?
I think it's a better matchup. I actually think if they bench Gobert, they'd probably play better against Denver. They just don't know what they're doing. You've got two huge guys on the floor. It's like it's just weird for spacing. So. I love SGA, so I think they'd give Denver more of a run for their money than the Wolves are going to do.
Matt?
Yeah, Minnesota just like Dom said, Gobert and Towns out there at the same time. It just always looks weird. And I know Towns is a good 3-point shooter and he can play the perimeter, but then you have Gobert down low and he's got worse hands than you do, Gene. And
they're small. I got small Donald Trump hands.
Yeah. But like if you toss them the ball in the lob or a pick and roll, like how many times does he fumble around with it or fuck it up? Like he doesn't have that offensive thing. And come playoff time, his effectiveness as a defensive player has been muted every year because teams just spread the floor and keep him away. And there's not much he can do, and he doesn't do anything on the offensive floor. So I love Anthony Edwards. I like Mike Conley, but I don't know, that team seems like Dom said, like shrug. Who cares?
Yeah, I think they're definitely outclassed, and I think OKC would have been as well, but I don't think to the same extent. But I get where Minnesota was going when they brought in Gobert, right? You bring in two big guys, put two big guys on the court, almost like a twin tower kind of a thing. If you look back at how like when San Antonio did in the '90s with Tim Duncan and David Robinson, right? You put those two big guys back there, the twin towers, as they used to call it, Robinson and Duncan. So I get in theory, one guy's an offensive juggernaut, one guy's a defensive juggernaut. I get in theory doing it. I don't, and again, like you said, Matt Hamilton, I said first and last name like I'm your parent. But they get
Matthew Hamilton.
But you know what? And like you said, in the postseason, the coaching is going to get a little different. People are going to coach differently. So you're going to where it's night in, night out. You might not switch up your what you're going to do game plan wise. But when you have 7 games to go against the same team 7 nights in a row, you're going to start predicating what you do on offense to have that defense is set, and you're going to spread that team out. Ali, in theory, right, it was a good idea, but in postseason doesn't work.
Sure. All with you there, Gene.
There you go.
I'm all with you there.
All right.
I think also Gobert was just so hugely overrated. It's just, I mean,
I agree.
I've never thought he was a decent player. I've always been like, why is he winning Defensive Player of the Year? I mean, like, I don't get it. He's always been terrible to me. So that's
long
why
arms. He gets rebounds and he blocks.
Right.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I just think he's really bad. So that trade was baffling to me.
It was baffling to me too at the time. It was like, you gave up how much? And that was at a time when, if you look at his metrics, like his defensive metrics drop in the playoffs every single year.
Mm-hmm.
So then it becomes okay, what do we do with this guy? We sign him to a $40 million a year contract and then trade him for 8,000 pieces.
Get Pablo Banchero out there. You know,
build up Orlando. I want to see Orlando be built up. Everyone wants to move Pablo.
He wants to see him be Magic.
Leave Paolo alone. I want to see the Orlando Magic become something. That's my second home.
But he's so young and so hungry and so good, and he'll like impact. You know, he's definitely the Robin. He's not the Batman, but he'll impact and really help whatever team he's on. Though you're right, Gene, it would be nice, especially for you having that personal attachment to Orlando, to keep him and build around him because the Magic is sad. But
and that could be a fun team if you build around him. That could be a really fun team.
It's almost a fun team now.
And that's what I'm saying. They got a lot of young players. We said that yesterday, and I feel like I was like on an island
G
a little
League.
bit.
It's giving G League, which is not a bad thing because they're all, like I said, hungry and sometimes even better than some of our key players.
Well, I also, Ellie, and you can attest to this. The G League is a lot of fun to watch. For anyone that I think, like you said, there's a different kind of hunger in that G League.
Absolutely, and we have some two-way contract players. Like Claxton started just G League, then he was two-way, and then he was there. We had a lot of them throughout the year, so you see their potential and you see how much they grow too throughout the years, which is nice. But even our current roster. For Long Island, that's who I paid attention to. We're affiliated with Brooklyn, but yeah, they're great. I mean, we made it far, and we made it to playoffs, which is big for G League. So I was proud of them. But yeah, like I said, you got to take the rookies, and either, especially on a team like the Magic, build around him. It's definitely going to be Rookie of the Year, or I don't know, move him so that he has that opportunity to thrive with other people. So I don't know. It's
fast. The Magic is just the farm team for the NBA. They just they build up these players and then they just ship them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. I want to see that change. That's exactly what I mean. I think Orlando could be a fun city if the league lets them grow and kind of lets them kind of, and again, I say the league because the league does listen, the league helps out with certain things. I want to see Orlando become a team that is fun to watch. I think they are fun to watch. I want to see Orlando be a team that adds more to it and can build off the young roster they have.
Like the Shaq days with Penny Hardaway.
Shaq days, or even the Dwight Howard days. Listen, they made the finals. They made the finals with Dwight Howard, man. Yeah. So they had some good, really good teams in the past. There's no
Fultz
reason
is a nice story last year. Fultz is a nice story. It's nice to see him back.
Right? Because a lot of people had him as one of the biggest busts in league history at one point, and now to see him actually starting to develop.
He's good, man. He's good.
And he's exciting to play. There was one play where he crossed the court with a block up against the backboard. I mean, he's exciting to watch. He's only going to get better. He's a late bloomer in the NBA. Yeah. I think he's only going to get better. And as I said, I think the future is really bright for Orlando. They just let these young guys play, let them learn on the court, and bring in a guy, maybe some veteran leadership to really kind of help guide them to that next level. I would love to see Orlando. I know that we got off topic, but I would love to see Orlando do something. All right, let's talk a little football headlines. NFL, Jalen Hurts signs mega extension with the Eagles, 5 years, $255 million. Matt, good deal or bad deal? What do you think? Overpaid?
Yeah, great deal. I mean, this is going to be the going rate for your kind of stud quarterbacks. The guaranteed money is kind of more in line, I think, the owners and they want with what happened with Kyler Murray and Deshaun Watson. And this should probably pave the way for Baltimore to sign Lamar to a similar contract. But, with the TV deal, like the revenue, the cap's just going to keep going up. So if you get a 40-year, if you sign like Dak Prescott's deal right now, in 5 years, he's not even going to be in the top 10 quarterbacks being paid. Just the way, like when these people come up, it's going to eclipse it. So I think it's a great deal. He was really, really good last year. He kind of quelled a lot of concerns about especially his accuracy.
Mm-hmm. He got more accurate.
Yeah, I think he was definitely and he's a weapon. So I think it's a great deal.
Also, I saw someone, I think it was the NFL did on Instagram. They said the easiest 1 yard play in history or something like that. It was him getting that 1 yard. Whenever you need that 1 yard, just Jalen Hurts up the middle, right? He's got that big body.
Brady. It's like Tom Brady. Tom Brady was guaranteed quarterback sneak. He gets every time, which is so weird. I know he's a big guy, but he's like the most unathletic quarterback to ever play the game, and he got it every time.
Every time.
But the same with Jalen Hurts. It's just like, okay, what are you going to do? You can't stop him, especially when he does the hesitate. If he hesitates, it's like, is he going to move outside? If they just step the box,
you do have to worry because he'll take it around the end and go for 80 yards. So here's some stats on it. So it's 5 years, $255 million. Makes him the highest paid player. The second highest in guaranteed money, which obviously comes after that horrendous contract in Cleveland with Deshaun Watson. It's 179.3 in guaranteed money. Full no trade clause, which is also the first in Eagle history. Mm-hmm. And then there's another $15 million on incentives, and it's going to pay him $64 million in his first year. $64 million in his first year.
That's right.
How do you feel about the no trade clause too, Dom? I mean, I know that this is a little bit of we're seeing in the NFL teams go more towards the no trade clause now when it used to not be a thing, or the guaranteed money. Dangerous to the NFL?
What does that mean? He can be or he can't be?
He can't be. No trade clause. Full no trade clause.
Well, unless he wants to be. He gets control.
Yeah, he gets control.
So how's that?
I don't know. I guess that's great for the Eagles, right?
Well, but is it? Like, you might get stuck with this guy.
Yeah. What if he just gets complacent and he's just stuck there?
That's what I'm saying. They kind of fuck themselves by making it that way. He has all the power and all the money.
All the power and all the money.
The thing is, the no trade clause in the NFL is kind of it is, but it isn't a no trade clause because you can't trade him for the first 3 years anyways because you're going to get that dead cap hit.
Yeah, that's true.
God knows what it's going to be, 50 or 60. Like if the Denver Broncos were going to trade Russell Wilson right now, they would have a cap hit of 50 or 60 million dollars.
I thought it was even more than that. I thought it was closer
to
70.
It might be.
Yeah,
so you can't trade him anyways for like the first 3 years. The last 2 years of his deal, I don't know what the cap hit numbers would be, the cap penalty numbers, but it would be manageable. So it's really only the last 2 years ish that it really matters. It's just kind of more of a window dressing thing, I think, than anything.
Yeah, Matt said.
Yeah, Tom's with me.
We'll come back to Dom when it's NBA time. Yeah. But is he the guy? Like, he had one big year. Do we know that he's the guy? Do we know going forward this is the guy that's going to be here for 5 years and ball out, be an all-pro quarterback for 5 years? And also, number one, number two, was he wrong in taking this contract now? Because you're going to have another 3 or 4 contracts that come out in the next year that are going to be that will dwarf this probably. No. Burrow's got to come out. Quarterback from the Chargers. I'm blanking on his name. Herbert got to come out.
Oh.
There's a lot of you know what I'm saying, but there's a lot of good quarterbacks that are going to now squash this contract. Is that good? Is that better for Hurts that he got it out of the way?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Money, man. That's a lifetime. He's good. He's set.
So smart to get that money early. It just means a lot of weight on his shoulders, and it means a lot of other quarterbacks wanting to now secure the bag for themselves. But very smart on him for sure.
But also a lot of pressure because now he's got to basically earn that money.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I don't know. I'm not sold on Jalen Hurts. Am I in the minority on that one?
I'm not Google, so it doesn't matter. But whatever.
I mean, listen,
you're in the minority. I loved it. I hate Philly. I'm a Cowboys fan. I fucking hate Philly. But he's really good, dude. And I was like shitting on him last year or year before. I was like, this guy stinks.
But here's what I'm saying. But look at the team they have around him. Great offensive line, really good receiving core, good tight ends, one of the best running games in football.
Yeah.
If he loses a couple of those pieces, is he still the Jalen Hurts we saw last year?
I mean, well, no, but I mean that's part of what makes people great. You know, if you take a shitty quarterback and you go, well, what did he have around him? So you have to credit the team for building around them,
of course,
like that and giving him those options and the weapons. I mean, they went and traded for AJ Brown, which is huge.
That was the major part of it.
Yeah, Smith is an incredible complimentary receiver. They get
all-pro offensive lineman.
Yeah. Dallas Goedert's a stud. But yeah, I mean, you can't penalize him because he had a good team, but he was awesome.
I'm not saying you can't penalize him. I get it. That's fair. That's a fair assessment. But
you hate Jalen Hurts.
I don't hate Jalen Hurts. I don't hate him at all. Listen,
guys.
Yeah. You're not a fan.
I hate Philly fans. I don't hate Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
Agreed.
There we go. Right, Allie, we agree. We're New Yorkers. We hate Philly fans. But yeah, I think that. All right, listen, he had the best running back in the league last year, Miles Sanders, right? The top 3 running back in the league last year.
Well, best running back in the league. That's
all right, but up there.
He was good. He had a good year.
He loses him this year. He's now in Carolina. He's got all-pro offensive linemen on that offensive line. He's got all-pro center. He's got Pro Bowlers on that offensive line. If he loses a couple of those, or if one of those receivers goes down, does he have the same? He can't possibly replicate what he did last year.
Maybe not, but I mean, I think it'll be close. I mean, losing Miles Sanders, I don't think matters because running backs you can replace easily, especially if you have a good offensive line, which they do. Yeah, that's all that matters.
But that's what I'm saying. What if that offensive line a reason why he was able to be as good as he was this year? Like that offensive line, you could have put you back there, Matt, and you would have at least been a Pro Bowl.
Yeah, I mean
maybe third alternate, but
that's why Tom Brady was so great for years, and Peyton Manning, and that's why Zeke was so good the first kind of handful of his years. Is they had a great offensive line. So without a good offensive line, I mean, look at you're a Giants fan, right?
No, I'm a Jet fan.
Jet fan. All right. Okay. Well,
Allie's
okay. So you want to talk about bad offensive lines? Like, how many times did you see? How many times do you see Saquon Barkley tackled behind the line of scrimmage, like as he's getting the ball? That happens so often, and he was still good enough sometimes to turn that into positive yardage. But the offensive line matters, and so they have it now. So I would, and that's also something you can get those guys in the draft.
Yeah, and not even early. You can get them in the second, third.
Yeah. You can get like a 5th round guard that can play.
Yeah.
The Cowboys got Tyler Biadasz in I think the 4th or 5th round, and he's the starting center now after Frederick went down. And so that's it's possible. So I think moving forward, I think he's still going to be great. Is he going to have an MVP type season again? I don't know, but
he's no Zach Wilson. I know that, but let's move on to
Zach Wilson. Yeah.
Cardinals Budda Baker request a trade. Listen, Budda Baker might be one of the best safeties in the league. 2-time All-Pro, 4-time Pro Bowler. But 2 years left on his deal. Where else would he be a good fit if not Arizona?
Anywhere but the Cardinals.
The Cardinals are a sinking ship. I think that's fair to say.
Trash.
No one the word's out. Kyler stinks, and he's a dick teammate, and no one seems to like him.
Did anybody see the video of him talking to his sick kid, but he was flirting with the mom the whole time? Did anybody see that video last year?
No.
He was like, his first words out of his mouth was, "Where's your mom?" And then the mom was semi-attractive, and so his thing,
But is that actually what happened, or are we just taking it out of context?
Ali, you know how the internet is. We were probably taking it out of context, but that's the video clip that was shown on the thing. It was like, and it kind of went viral a little bit. Was the first words out of his mouth was, "Where's your mom?" And then his mom came over, gave the mom a big hug, and he was very interested in the mom. So God bless Kyler Murray.
Hey, shoot a shot.
So, right? You never know. But so where do we see Buda Baker going? Do we think that they're going to request? Will they fulfill this trade request? Number one, number two. Who can use a safety? Anybody can use a safety like Buda Baker. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Where would you like to see him end up? I feel like Dallas is always looking for a defensive back.
Our secondary is pretty good last year, though we kind of got hit with a bit of injury bug come playoff time. But I would like him in Dallas. Yes, very much so. Yes.
What do you give up for a player like that? He's going to want an extension. You already know that he's going to want an extension.
Well, that's
2 years left.
That's why he wants to trade. So what did Jalen Ramsey get? He went for 2 first-round picks a couple years ago, right?
Yeah, in the prime. I mean, he's not that player.
He signed a big ticket, and so they dumped him now. Well, he's still a good player. So I imagine it's going to be in that kind of Jamal Adams, Jalen Ramsey kind of price tag. I imagine they're going to want 2 first-round picks. That's a lot.
I was like, you think they had 2 first-round picks for him? Would you give up 2 first-round picks for him?
No, but I think that's what they'll want.
I think they'd be lucky if they get a second round, maybe a second and a third rounder for him. I don't think they're going to get a first rounder for him. I know he's great. Like, don't get me wrong.
How old is he? He's 28, 29.
He's only been in the league like what, 6 years? He's a 6-year vet.
Yeah.
So he's got to be like, I don't know, like maybe 28. You doing a little research? Let's see if he gets it faster than Patty. Patty Puddles, I'm sure, is looking it up because he's always doing his job. Probably not.
Yeah, I beat Patty the last couple times on this. So
yeah, Patty's
he's
like
27. He's 27, so he's still got some miles.
He's got about a good 3 years left where he's going to be in the prime of his career. Been battle tested on that defense. All pro resume. I know. Listen, Allie, you guys lost some players over there on the Giants. I think he'd be a great fit for the Giants too.
Yeah.
Lost Julian Love.
Sure. You know who I don't want on the Giants though? DeAndre Hopkins. So if he's also looking to come out of the Cardinals, I'll have him on the Bills. He can go on the Jets.
No. We don't want that. We don't want, and we'll talk about this tomorrow. It's actually on tomorrow's topic. We don't want
the Cardinals. Like everyone wants out if they want to win. But yeah, I mean, listen, sure, I'll take Buda Baker. Not worth like 2 first-round picks, but we'll see. I don't know where he ends up. He's just got to get out of the Cardinals if he wants to win. And same with DeAndre.
I agree, but let me just say this. I mean, again, we'll touch on this more tomorrow because we will have Abby, who's the big Jet expert, tomorrow, and I know she's going to probably have some views on this. DeAndre Hopkins, if anybody's seen the video where he basically said he didn't want to go to the Jets, DeAndre Hopkins can go F himself at this point. I wouldn't want you in Florham Park if my life depended. If I had a chance to win a Super Bowl, I don't want you on my team. You don't want to come here when we have things starting to turn around. Kick rocks, go to Buffalo, go freeze your ass off in Buffalo. I don't care.
Yeah, Giants don't want me there. Buffalo.
That's what I'm saying. It snows like 385 days of the year in Buffalo. Go hang out in Buffalo.
Gene does math. This segment's called Gene Does Math.
Whatever it is, we don't want you. You don't want to be a Jet? Good. Don't be a Jet. Go play somewhere else. Go freeze. All right. What else we got? All right. We're gonna come up with that. We said we're gonna do one more. We're gonna do more topic. Zay Flowers visits the Ravens. Ravens need you like Zay Flowers, Allie?
I would like him on the Giants, actually. He's shifty. He's good. I feel like we could use someone like him. But he
kind of reminds me of OBJ a little bit in his prime. Mm-hmm. He's kind of got that fast, that quick, can move a lot. He kind of reminds me of OBJ a little bit in his prime. Which is why I'm surprised Baltimore was actually bringing him in. If I'm Baltimore, I go out and get a bigger receiver. I would go get myself a 6'4" guy. Why are you looking at bringing in the same kind of guy of a guy you just signed?
Right.
Matt, what's your thoughts?
Well, I think I speak for Dom when this. Again, we don't really watch college football, but from what I understand, he's a pretty shifty. Like I just got the Coles notes on, and he's a pretty shifty guy. But they need They need weapons. They need weapons, and having quick, shifty guys. Even if you have a lot of slot receivers, if Lamar goes back there, which I think he will, it just gives you that many more options. So I think it's good. I mean, big receivers are nice though.
That's what I'm saying. I think they already have a couple of small guys. Bring in a bigger one.
Rashad Bateman's small. Odell Beckham's not the biggest, and Odell Beckham, I mean, he hasn't had like an awesome year for a while. He was effective on the Rams, but he wasn't.
I agree. I thought there was a little bit of overratedness with him on the Rams. Everyone made it seem like he was a star still in the Rams, and he was good. I don't know, but
he wasn't Giants good.
No, he wasn't as good as he was in the Giants. Dom, you follow the Rams a little bit. What did you think when it's time there?
I don't follow the Rams.
You're in LA. That's why.
You follow them
follow the Clippers. So
throw out a couple buzzwords, Dom. He ran good routes.
I see people wearing Rams stuff a lot, but that's about as close.
We gotta get Dom into football, man. Dom, you'd love football. Give it a shot. I know rugby and soccer, but if we got you into real American football,
I've been here 14 years, and I'm still not into American football.
I can't for the life of me understand why.
Because they wear pads and they stop all the time, and it's really boring.
Katrina, is that what your problem is with it?
I mean, yeah, the best part is the uniforms.
Okay. What's your favorite uniform?
I mean, I would agree with that, Kat. I would agree that the best part of the game is the uniform.
Just want to see some nice ass. And
that's what I think that's what Katrina meant. She wasn't talking.
That's exactly all I mean. I mean, quite literally, I just like the outfits. I like the bodies, I like the muscles. Yeah. Exactly.
Or lack thereof outfits. Maybe they should
I like
play
the good
less.
preview. I like to know what I'm getting before I unwrap it. So
that's good.
There you go. Maybe they should wear more crop tops like Hayden Hurst on what did Hayden Hurst play last year? The Bengals. He always wears like a crop top jersey.
They could wear those. What are those puff powder girls?
I was exactly the image that came to mind, like booty shorts and crop.
That could listen. They could help bring in a whole new group of fans.
I would definitely watch.
Yeah, I would watch. They can even get a Budweiser sponsorship.
Man. All right, guys, let's get into our sixth man of the year topic, man. All right, sixth man of the year in the NBA. They're obviously announcing awards. We're going to get into a little bit more. They just had the defensive player of the year. We'll talk about that in a minute. But first, let's talk about what we think who's going to get that sixth man of the year award. I'll go first because I really do like my guy, and I'm a fan of my guy, and that's not why I'm rooting for him because I listen. Knicks don't really give you much to root for. They don't really give you much reason to think that they're going to win things. But I honestly think Emmanuel Quickley, with as crucial and clutch and key as off the bench he's been, I feel like he is definitely the sixth man of the year. And it's nice to see the Knicks finally have like some guys that are just role players. You don't always need a star. Sometimes that sixth man of the year can really propel a team to get really deep into the playoffs. I'm going to go with Emmanuel Quickley. Dom, who do you got?
Well, I think if he played more games and hadn't got injured, it would have definitely been Norman Powell, without a shadow of a doubt. But I don't think he's even going to be in it because he hasn't played enough games.
No, he's been
but I agree with you. I think it's between Quickley and probably Brogdon. Those two guys, they've been amazing off the bench.
Yeah,
I'm just trying to think who else would have a shout in there.
Monk.
Yeah,
Monk's been good.
He's obviously in the limelight right now too. So, but no, I agree with you. I think it will be Quickley. Maybe Brogdon will sneak in there, but I think it'll be Quickley.
I like. So my after Quickley, I do like Brogdon. I also like Maxey out of Philly. I think Maxey has. I don't know if he's going to finish in the top three.
I think he's most of the year.
No, he was on the bench. I thought. Did he start?
Exactly. You don't even know. I think he missed it. I think it's going to be my Denver Nuggets guy, my handsome Jokic, however you say it. Jokic.
Well, he's a starter, so he won't be it. It's the sixth man is the guy who comes off the bench.
Fine.
So we can't give Jokic every award.
Katrina, and I'm voting Katrina as the sixth man of the year.
Yeah.
So.
Does Bobby Portis have a shout?
He's had a good year. I don't see it. I don't I don't see him being Bobby Portis. I don't. You know how it is with the six man year too. It usually goes to the guy who really scores a lot. He's like a nice little power guy, score guy off the bench.
Totally.
So, and I don't know if Portis has really scored in bunches like that. That's why I like the idea of Monk. I didn't even think of Monk actually coming into the segment. Monk wasn't even in my mind, but Monk can score in bunches. Brogdon does a lot to get that team going too. That's why I think Brogdon might be right there. If he's not number one, he's number two. Allie, who do you like as the sixth man?
Yeah, quickly go
after Katrina, obviously.
No, yeah. Oh, yes. Jokic. No. Yeah, I'm with you. Quickly for sure. I'm proud of the Knicks this season.
I feel like that was like a little facetiousness.
No, it's a lot. No. I'm not. Anytime
The Knicks and Nets can be friends, Allie.
No, absolutely. And anytime one New York team is going far, I'm always so proud of them. Like even Islanders, like I'm a Rangers fan actually, even though I'm born and raised on Long Island, but I'm proud of the Islanders being this far and the Rangers and the Knicks and the Nets. First time since when, Gene? The early 90s?
94 was the last time all teams, including New Jersey too, the Devils and
the Devils too. Yes.
Yeah, so the last time that they all were in the playoffs at the same time was 1994.
Proud of New York, and I am also going quickly.
Which was a bad year because I got to watch John Starks go 1 for 45 from 3-point range against the Rockets. The same time that O.J. Simpson was driving his white Bronco down the PCA, PCH or whatever the hell it is. Yeah. If everybody remembers that Knick game, I didn't want to watch the Bronco. I wanted to watch my Knicks, and yet as a 15-year-old, I had to watch or 14-year-old, whatever the hell I was at the time, I had to watch this O.J. Simpson fiasco.
And now let's talk about O.J. Simpson.
What's he doing these days? He's still with us, right?
He'd be killing probably.
Yeah, Maxey started 2/3 of his games this year.
Okay, all right. So he didn't start all the games, so you can't really count on that.
He can't be even quickly.
But he can't be 6-man. I get it.
Yeah, even quickly started like 20 games because of injury.
I would say he's more of a bench guy, though. He was definitely a bench guy this year.
I guess you can't really hold that against him. You can't hold it because he was good when he was starting, but I think it'll probably be him. I mean, I would go Brogdon just because of a more true definition of 6-man.
I can't be mad if it's Brogdon. I can't complain if it's Brogdon.
It's probably going to be quickly, especially because down the stretch he was. How many 40-point games did he have down the stretch?
He came in real key on a bunch of games for us. But I think one of those 40-point games was the game he started though. So I can't really say it was off the bench. But he's a dynamite off the. And he's got a 2nd-round pick. We weren't looking too much into him. I remember when I had heard of him a little bit in college when we got him, and so I was like, okay, well he comes from a good pedigree. I never expected him to be what he's been on the Knicks. And the Knicks, I feel like they've done pretty good at finding 2nd-round talent. The last few years. So I was. So all right. So we all agree it's going to be quickly, right? Yep.
Probably.
It's definitely not going to be Powell. Tom, I'm sorry.
No, he can't be. He doesn't qualify.
He's not as good either. He's just not that good.
That's bullshit. he's a star, man. He's so good on the bench.
I loved him in Dallas. He was great in Dallas, and he was a Raptor.
He gets buckets, dude.
Yeah,
he was good.
Hating on Powell. Jesus.
No, I'm just teasing, man. I'm just teasing. But listen, he's just not flashy enough for me. I don't know. Hey, let's go.
What?
All right, I'm just
like dunk too. I mean, he puts it down.
Jaren Jackson Jr., Triple J wins the Defensive Player of the Year. Agree or disagree, Dom Lewis?
Sure, I'm fine with that. I don't really defense. I don't watch the NBA for defense normally.
Dunking wins games, right? Yeah, I hear you.
Dunking and threes win games. Yeah,
dunking and threes win games.
No, I'm fine with that. I'm all good with that.
Who would you have given it to, Matt? I know we talked about this the other day, and we
did. And my pick was Mobley.
Yeah, me too.
Kind of Brook Lopez in there. Brook Lopez finished 2nd, actually, which is kind of surprising.
Yeah,
but I kind of speculated. God, my hair looks brutal.
I love it, man. I love it.
It looks beautiful, man.
Yeah. Oh, you charmers. Yeah, I like Triple J to win. I just didn't think he played enough games. He missed 20 games. But yeah, I'm happy with it. Yeah, he was great. He's really good.
I mean, defensive stopper. I think I'll tell you what. Okoro, had he not been hurt a little bit, been banged up a little bit this year. Although I don't think he missed that many games. I'm surprised he didn't make more noise. How many games did he miss, Patty? If you could put up, how many games did he play this year, Okoro? Because I think when it comes, he just doesn't. I think what Okoro is, he doesn't really come up with stats that prove he's good defensively. He just doesn't let anybody score on him defensively. So Jaren Jackson, I think he averaged like 3 blocks a game. So like he's always going to be putting up stats. I think it was like 3 blocks and a steal a game. Allie, what about you? Who did you see on defense?
I don't know.
Same as Dom, like defense is boring.
What is he? Good center, power forward.
Power forward.
Fine. He's good. I don't know, like, yeah, I'm indifferent. Not that I don't care. It's just like not flashy. It's just not something.
Defense is boring. That's why nobody plays defense.
Yeah. But yeah, I agree that sure, why not? I'm in that headspace as well.
Katrina?
I don't care that he's a good power bottom. I'm not interested.
One or the other. There we go. One or the other. All right, what do we got next? All right, NBA reportedly investigating Russell Westbrook's heated exchange with a fan during Clippers Suns game 1. We got the video of it, and then I want to hear what Dom has to say about this. Patty, play that video. Does he have it?
There we go.
Watch him out. Take it like a man. Watch him out. Watch him out. Straight like that. Watch him out.
So there's that. Dominic?
I mean, I'm kind of more interested why his shirt is up and he's
yes, the crop top. Hell yeah!
He knew Katrina was watching, and he said, "Let me put my."
I was in. Yeah, he understood the assignment.
There you go.
I'm gonna roll my shirt up. I'm gonna grab my dick, and then I'm gonna say, "Watch your mouth." So I don't know. It's Westbrook, man. I kind of like it.
I like it too. And let me tell you something. Here's a guy. I love how the guy gets up. This short little chubby guy gets up like he's gonna fight Westbrook when it's like he just wants to get punched, so there's a lawsuit. He has no ambition of beating up Russell Westbrook.
With his son next to him, like eating a slice of pizza. Like,
which makes it even worse. Like, I get it. These guys get paid millions of dollars and they should have a thicker skin in certain situations. But it also doesn't mean you can't poke and prod them all day and expect them to be able to take it. They're, to have to do that. And I just think the guy getting up, like, he's such a tough guy. Like, dude, the guy's not going to hit you. Like, Russell Westbrook is not going to hit you.
In front of everybody on camera? No.
Exactly. And if he did, he purely was doing that for the bag, right?
Mm-hmm.
Matt, I mean, should Russell Westbrook have actually just hit him and just dealt with it?
Fuck, man. Russell Westbrook, it's so easy to get in that guy's kitchen.
Yeah.
How many highlights do we see of him kicking fans out on the court, like pointing to security, like?
LeBron does it too. You see LeBron complain a lot too.
Well, LeBron's a fucking putz, but I don't have time to get into LeBron being an idiot. But
I mean, I think it depends on if it's just normal fan talk, like you suck, we all that kind of stuff. If it's crossing a line, then I think he's completely.
Sure.
Who knows what he said? If
I haven't saw what was said.
A line, then I think he has a right. I mean, you don't want to go Cantona on him. That was Eric Cantona, soccer player, a while back, kicked a fan, like fly kicked a fan in the face, for saying something about his mother or something.
I was gonna say, where's the line? Is it your mom? Like, where?
Yeah, where is the line?
That's intense. But I think, if you're crossing a line, then we're human beings. You got to expect these guys to react.
Well, the thing, I mean, he was getting mad last year about the Westbrook thing. People chanting mad at him. And it's like, lame. Well, listen, man.
And that's one of the ones that's okay. That's
fine.
If you're going to sign a $45 million a year contract and you're not good, you kind of got to wear that shit.
I call him Westbrook.
Part of the deal.
Ali, you sit somewhere near the fans and the players. What would you say is like some of the stuff? Hey, what's some of the stuff that you've heard? I'm sure you've heard a lot.
I've heard so much. Where's it? It was literally yesterday. We were talking about the 9-year-old girl, the daughter of
DR.
Might be the story. Yes, and everyone was quiet during the free throws, and she was like, like whatever the fuck a dinosaur sounds like. She was doing it, and I think that again there are lines like that was just completely annoying, which is you don't want that. But then there's the next level where there's some words, and obviously I've seen fans getting kicked out, not necessarily because of what they're like saying and doing, because they're more so just so annoying and disrespectful to like some of the security guards, like people around it, and at that point you're just a fucking asshole, like you should be ejected. In this particular situation, it's weird. So what is it like? There's a space where the fans can kind of cut through, where the players are also.
It looked like it was almost like a lounge, almost like a lounge.
I thought
area.
It looked like a backstage kind of.
Okay, so you're backstage, right? Chances are you're like either a VIP ticket holder or like you're someone, whatever. I just feel like why create that drama for yourself again? I think he was hoping to create a bigger issue, so then but then it's like you have money if you're in that space. So what, do you want it for more money? Like, you want to get punched for more money? Like, something doesn't add up, because I know the people in those exclusive, like, kind of VIP settings, they have a lot of money. They're usually like people who are not really chirping. They're keeping to themselves. They're just drinking courtside, whatever, having a good time. So I don't know. Like, I just kind of want to know his intention. But no one's investigating shit. It's the NBA. And I keep saying they're the players that I feel have the most power over anyone. Whether that's good or bad, that's another story. But
I think it's good and bad.
Doing shit. It's Russell Westbrook. No one's going to investigate anything. He didn't technically do anything. If the fans started, especially, I just want to know what the intention was. Because it's just a weird situation. It's not like it's courtside. I don't know. The whole thing's a little weird.
But
if he's got a lot of money, I don't think it's trying to get paid. I think it could be just entitlement.
Yeah,
I was going to say that too. I would say it's either entitlement or just trying to go viral.
Yeah,
his 15 minutes of fame.
Exactly. Like, oh, I'm the guy that said this to Russell Westbrook, and I really got under his skin. He actually hit me, and now
cool dad, while his poor son
is Arizona. So
his son looked embarrassed. I feel bad.
Chirping somebody in like at halftime in the VIP lounge or wherever the hell it is lame. Yeah, like the game's not even on, and it's like you're not even trying to get in his. You're not. You know what I mean? It's like
it's so weird.
That's lame.
What's the line that is the unfair line to cross though as a fan? What's that? What is the line? Obviously, it's racial stuff. It's family stuff. Is that really it?
Yeah, I think racial. Hey, Gene, racial's the line in everything. By the way,
but fair enough. But I'm saying, but with this whole thing, like there's lines you don't cross, right? And you would say race, family. What else?
Probably family stuff.
But, so other than that, is everything else on the table?
Health stuff.
I was gonna say health. Yeah.
Yeah.
Your
immune system sucks.
No one fucking.
His job says his immune system sucks.
I hope you get COVID.
I hope you get COVID and die. It's like, no, that's probably not good. I'd say that's crossing the line.
Okay, that sounds. Yeah, I guess death is definitely. I guess death would be something that might be.
Death is a line.
I think when we were talking about it earlier, the Philadelphia Eagle fans that cheered Michael Irvin almost being paralyzed, I guess that would be a line, right?
Yeah. That's a line.
That's horrible.
So
Philadelphia fans don't have a line.
No, there's
they throw batteries at players. They don't have a line.
Aren't they the ones that also threw like the ice snowballs at Santa Claus that year? Wasn't it Philly fans?
Probably.
So makes sense. Guys, we're gonna take a short commercial break, and when we come back, we'll get some more stuff.
Craving your favorite theme park treats right from the comfort of your home? Introducing MainStreetTreat.com. We bring your favorite treats right to your doorstep. Visit MainStreetTreat.com today and go ahead, treat yourself.
Happiness is addictive. Passionate about spreading laughter and creating smiles worldwide. Happiness is addictive brings our global community together through humor, optimism, cheer, hopefulness, and merriment. Happiness is addictive. Happiness is addictive.
Hey guys, looking to book a vacation? Well, try your fairy tale vacation and try our friend over there, Neil Shukart. He's email. You can reach him on his email, Neil, Neil at yourfairytalevacation.com, or on Instagram, Disney Universal Travel Planner. You can reach him on his cell phone, 713-817-5934. 100% free quotes, 100% free travel planning, and his expertise. He specializes in Disney World, Disneyland, Orlani, Universal Orlando, Universal Hollywood, all those big cruise ships, Disney Cruise Line, Royal Caribbean, Holland America, Norwegian Cruise Line, and Princess Cruise Line. So if you're looking to book that trip, make sure you reach out to our friend Neil Shukart, and you can see all his information on the screen right there. And we lost we lost Matt. He'll be back. I think he's taking a quick a bathroom break. I think I'm assuming. I don't know.
I made it. I'm back.
There. He's back. He's back. All right.
He
And
said you have a lot of stomach
break.
issues. Are you okay?
Yeah,
He said a lot of stomach issues. He said.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff. Yeah. Some odd noises coming from that stream.
It's me trying to digest dealing with Gene.
Yeah.
Oh.
I feel like that wasn't nice. That wasn't very nice. But I digress. Let's get into some more Hollywood headlines. Guys, Anthony Ramos is going to join Daisy Edgar Jones in the new Twisters movie, sequel to Twister. I remember we spoke recently about them doing another version of it. They were trying to make it where it was like a historical black college, had the storm chasers, and Helen Hunt was actually going to write the script, and they didn't want to go with it, but they have this other sequel going out. Katrina, was Twisters worthy of a sequel to you?
I mean, as long as it's not a series.
It's not a series.
Yeah, we could do a second movie. It's fine.
I feel like with today, there's so much more they could do with the CGI and special effects that they can make that movie even better. Like now, and going now in the year 2023, but probably out by 2024. I think there's so many more things that we could do with it, and I love Hamilton. He was fantastic in Hamilton. I think the addition is fantastic. Allie, what do you think?
So is it a sequel? Because I thought that the sequel was the one with the HBCU concept, which I loved all of that. And then they scratched it all together. Now it's a brand new movie called Twisters.
Yeah.
So it's like a sequel, but it's like kind of its own thing. Which
it's a sequel with, I think, no returning cast. I think it's more like just in the universe of. So there may be a couple of Easter eggs that show us that point to the old Twister movie. But it's not the sequel that we thought we were going to get with Helen Hunt.
Which
and Daveed Diggs.
Really cool. And I think I would have preferred that. But like you said, Katrina, I as long as it's maybe not a series, I don't think this needs a series. It starts to feel a little Sharknado-ish to me. But with the CGI, I think that'll also be really cool. And hopefully they can get a good storyline out of it, especially if it is going to be slightly different. I would definitely watch it.
You know what's ironic is one film that we thought we were going to get had a Hamilton member, and now we get the version we are going to get just added a Hamilton member.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a coincidence, or is that some creepy stuff?
I think we should add one more Hamilton.
Which one?
This one.
Yeah,
this
Gene.
one.
Oh, my bad.
See, this is the digestive issues I have. I locked it up for you.
I'm sorry. I sometimes I go right over my head. I'm short. I'm vertically challenged. I was just listen. I'm playing, man. Yeah, Dom. What do you think? Worthy of a sequel? Are you excited about this?
I have to be honest. I've never really been a big disaster movie fan.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? If it's good, I'll watch it. If any movie's good, I'll watch it. I probably won't be in line for the cinema opening weekend, but yeah, it's fine if it works. You
have you ever
need to put The Rock in these movies for them?
Yeah,
well.
I think
otherwise, like they're just gonna flop.
Have you ever done music to a disaster movie?
No. Funnily enough, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but I was asked to submit on this particular Twisted movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's
but I can't remember if I did or I didn't. But
well,
yeah, I mean, writing music to these kind of movies is fun. I just, it's
I was going to say, what's
not my
the
first choice genre-wise? That's all.
Yeah, I was going to say, is there a difference in the vibe of what you're doing musically for a movie like this compared to like a Bullet Train, let's say, or
I mean, yeah, always. I mean, the thing with Bullet Train it was just like mad scientist. I've got to just go crazy and do something completely different. But with these movies, the reasons why I tend to steer clear unless the director wants to go for something different. You do kind of get pushed into a box a little bit musically with having to fulfill a certain sound and a certain number of things that these movies need to do to get you chomping on the popcorn. So that's why I'm in a place in my career where I'm trying to go a little different and score things differently and go more towards the song side of stuff in that world. Obviously I do animation, that's all orchestral and floral and nice, whatever. Not to bore everybody, but There's definitely a different approach. It's definitely a different approach.
Too late. Matt's feisty today.
Oh,
Look
man.
at Matt.
And I don't think they should add another Hamilton to this movie. I think they should stay where they are with the Hamilton.
Yeah, there's one's enough. One's enough.
No,
Well, it depends on
Yeah.
it depends on the Hamilton. It depends on the Hamilton.
Yeah, true.
That's all right, let's get into the next one. The Rookie renewed for season 6 by ABC. Friend of the show and friend of Matt Hamilton, Brandon J. McLaren was on the Rookie as a fantastic bad guy. If anyone's familiar with it, Elijah Stone. Could he be going back to it? And we'll talk to him actually in a couple of weeks. He'll be on the show in a few weeks. We could ask him about his idea of it. What's your thoughts, Katrina, as far as the Rookie coming back for season 6?
I'm excited about it. I think it's great, and I hope Brandon J. McLaren comes back. He's one of my favorite characters.
He plays that gangster, Elijah Stone. Is one of my favorite bad guys on TV.
He's like a smooth gangster.
Yeah, right.
Like I'm not really afraid of him. I think he's cool. Like I want to go eat at his restaurant.
Allie, would we have a better time at that restaurant or Taco Tuesday?
Ooh,
Taco Tuesday.
always Taco Tuesday, man.
Tuesday.
That's it. Taco Tuesdays is like really where it's at, especially when they have the Birria Fridays and you have birria tacos are so good. No, but that's great. Good for them. I personally have never seen it, so that's something I got to add to my roster.
Got to add to your roster.
Every single day, no matter what the conversation is or who I'm talking with, there's always a conversation about shows. What are you watching? What should you watch? What's your recommendation?
Well, you know what, too?
This is one that's on the list.
You know what, too, is with streaming nowadays, everything is streamable. Everything is streamable. Yeah. It's always like, everything's binge watching. Like, what are you binge watching? Oh, you got to throw this on your list. So everything is so easily and readily available to us that it's easy enough to just, okay, I'll put that on. The only problem is our lines or our list gets so long of stuff we need to see.
Yeah, I have a long list.
I think that's where Apple are really
Shrinking is a really good one on Apple TV. Shrinking, I love it with Jason Segel and Harrison Ford. Just a little plug while we're having.
And also, it's not binge worthy, which is what I was moving on to say. Is that Apple are doing a great job of making us wait, like the good old TV days.
Oh, each week.
And I think that other than being great shows,
I love it too.
I think it's really helping the success of their shows because people are like, oh, I gotta watch the next one. So then it's like bumping up.
It builds up. Well, Disney Plus does that too.
On it.
Disney Plus does that as well. I think Turner Hooch was the same way, right? Each week was a new episode.
Yeah.
And I know Dom is involved with the Monsters at Work. That was every week was a new episode.
That's true.
Disney Plus does it the same way. They, even the Mandalorian, you gotta wait, a full week before you can watch a new episode. So they've been actually good at that as well. As a matter of fact, I think they were one of the first ones I saw do it when they did it. But back to the Rookie, Matt, excited to see season 6?
I've never seen it. I don't watch.
But your buddy is on the.
Yeah, Brandon, close your ears.
That's probably why he didn't show up last week.
Yeah,
he knew he was protesting.
Yeah, I don't watch network television, to be honest with you. I find it's super formulaic. It's got. That's its thing, but and to Allie's point, there's so much shit. I haven't seen Shrinking. I'm not caught up on. I'm 4 episodes behind on Ted Lasso. I just caught up on Succession. Like, there's so much shit. There's so much stuff, like good stuff.
Yeah.
I don't want to waste.
There's also so much shit.
There's both.
Succession, I gotta get into. I haven't had a chance to get into.
It's so good, dude.
Yeah, I really want to get into that one too.
Juicy.
And season 4 supposedly is like there's a lot
the juiciest.
Yeah,
there's some turns.
Well, it's the last season. It's the last season, so they're pulling out. They're going for it.
I think I'm the only person that can't get into it. I've tried so hard.
I haven't had a chance to, just because I know it's. Someone told me that if I'm gonna watch it, I need to watch it. You can't just kind of do other things. You can't multitask and watch it.
No, you have
got to
pay
attention.
attention.
And I'm a big multitasker while watching TV.
I can't watch this. Everyone is a disgusting human being.
They're all shitty people.
That's why I like it.
I just can't get into it. I think when I tried to watch it last time, it was probably.
Katrina's like, I like them. They're all straight shooters.
Going into depression. So it wasn't a good time for me.
Tom, what types of shows are you, or movies, do you prefer to watch?
I love anything comedy. I love Ted Lasso. I was really scared with the first 2 episodes because I was like, oh my god, what happened? They ruined the show. It's terrible. But they're bringing it back. It's back on track now.
Okay, you love Shrinking then, for sure.
I love Shrinking. I've seen it.
Okay, cool.
Love it. what else? I think Severance is one of the best shows of the last 10 years.
That's another one. That's another one.
Is that the Adam Scott vehicle?
Hey, Matt.
Yeah.
Same.
It's so good.
What is that show about?
So
Getting severed.
So
Oh,
yeah,
no.
there's
Well,
a
what? Depends on
company.
what.
There's a company that can sever your brain. So when you go to work for them, you only know the people that you're at work with. And then there's this elevator. So when you come down the elevator and you come out the elevator, you're back into like your life. You don't know where you work. You don't know anyone at work. It's so cool. It sounds like weird and like, oh, I don't know if I want to watch that.
That sounds kind of creepy,
Sounds
man.
great.
It
does.
is, but it's
all into it.
the workplace is like the way Ben Stiller's created it. It's like, it's almost like The Shining me. It's like a 70s thing. It's so cool. I can't.
It's almost like, remember in Office Space when he goes to the therapist and he's like, can you like knock me out so I feel like I was fishing all day and not really at work? Is it something like that where it's when you go home?
Office Space.
No, but that when he says, can you knock me out so I feel like I wasn't at work? I think I remember as if I was fishing all day.
But the point is, like, you don't know everyone in your work. Like, there's like 5 people at work or whatever it is. So if you were to see them in the grocery store in real life, you would not know them. You wouldn't know who they were.
But
Can I ask you? Okay, while they're at work though, do they remember their personal life?
No.
Or it's only one or the other.
Yeah. And there's like this big taboo about the people that got severed and all this kind. It's like, whew, it's so. I can't tell you how good it is. It's so good.
Is this an Apple TV?
Yeah.
Show? I gotta watch it.
No, it's not. It's not. Is it?
It's Apple TV.
It is Apple
TV.
I gotta give it a shot. I haven't watched it. I love Adam Scott. I think he's fantastic.
You'll watch the first one and be like, oh my god.
It's binge worthy.
Oh my god, yeah, it's so good.
How many seasons?
They're filming the second one right now.
Okay, so 1 season. All right, cool. All right, to get on a serious note, we got the Danny. Oh, we can't see the whole thing because they got this crawl, but Danny Masterton's going back to court. Looks like because the whole mistrial thing in the first one, they're going to do another one. Prosecution is looking to bring in more experts to testify on the effects of what drugs and drinking have on the memory. Any thoughts on this, or can we move on from this one? This is kind of depressing.
No, I have some thoughts.
Go ahead, Katrina. What do you?
I think that what they were trying to cover up, they were trying to minimize the exposure to the Church of Scientology that helped cover it all up, that threatened all of the ladies, all of the victims. And the Scientology was listed like 700 times in the trial.
Was it really?
Yeah. So they were a huge factor in why there weren't more victims, why there weren't more exposure to this, because they were threatening people and doing all sorts of things to the victims. They were covering it up. They were harassing them. They were threatening them. So, I mean, I think it's kind of fascinating when a church gets involved in any kind of
but let's be fair. I would say that's a loose
right.
Scientology. I still can't. So I find it weird.
Really.
So
yeah.
Look at it said here the jurors leaned towards acquittal for 10-2-8-4-7-5 on 3 counts. And that this trial will be very similar to the first trial. Lawyer Philip Cohen says the defense witnesses will basically be the same. But I feel like there's got to be more to it. What's the old saying? When there's smoke, there's fire. And I think almost to Katrina's point, there's got to be more to it. There's no way that this is all obviously alleged. We don't want to cast aspersions, but like it just seems like there's just too much for this not to be some truth here with all this, right?
Oh,
but
Scientology is evil. It's just like it's
so scary.
And they protect their own.
Scary and I don't know. I want to
so is the Catholic Church. And so are all organized religions.
Any strong institution that's like, I know something directly from the source that you do not know, and you have to listen to me. It's directly through the source. I'm out. And that's not to say that I'm not a spiritual person. I have a great connection with what I believe in and source, and that's all that makes me feel good. And I don't need to know anything else about anyone else's.
We don't touch much on religion on the show, but I always feel like whenever you have your personal connection, no matter what it is, that's for you. You know what I'm saying? So
except Scientology,
and if it is except I don't even get out. It's like a sci-fi.
Gene's trying to tell us something. Gene.
Well, I was about to say I've been a Scientologist for 5 years. Now I'm playing. Patty
We
Puddles
all
is
act out of the podcast.
So, all right, let's get on to the next one.
Next.
All right, Halsey split from Capitol Records.
Who cares?
Do we
I don't
care?
care.
Like, do we? Well, you know what it was? It was based on supposedly they wanted to line up the release of a song with like a big TikTok campaign around it. I mean, so to me, it's kind of silly that they even had a beef in the first place. Katrina, a Halsey fan, and what are we making for leaving Capitol? Good or bad?
I mean, I like Halsey. I think she'll be fine wherever she goes. I mean, I'm surprised. I think she seems like a kind of a moody person, kind of someone who is.
She seems like she can be cranky.
Yeah, so I'm surprised she hasn't left earlier. I'm surprised she hasn't had more clashing with her team prior.
Dominic, you're a musician. If someone told you had to go through a specific campaign, whether you agreed with it or not, how do you feel about that?
I mean, I think it depends on how much the record company are involved in the success in, you know, the championing of the artist. I have a huge problem with record companies in general, and the whole way that the music industry has gone. So anything an artist can do to take control of their own fate and their own career, I will champion. I'm all for it. I think the more artists that step away from the record companies and can do it themselves, or, you know, if we can try and create some change with record companies, they've been the man, if you will, for so long now, and have ruined so many people's lives, that if an artist can take control back, then I'm all for it. Fair play.
Cool. I get that too. Matt, what do you think? Halsey fan? First, are you a Halsey fan?
I
feel like you're not.
Probably 2 songs that she sings. So
I
guess she sounds like she's got a nice voice. I think she's very attractive, if I'm not mistaken.
She's all right. Yeah, it's not bad.
Okay. I know her from like an Eminem lyric in that MGK diss.
Yes.
That's the most I know her from. But I'm gonna go with Dom. Fuck the record companies. Fuck the man.
Yeah, I agree.
Allie?
Earlier when I said who cares, because I just genuinely feel like, is this news even like, is it a huge headline? Because you see this more and more artists kind of stepping away. Like Taylor put out her whole Taylor's version, and Jenny stepped away from whatever. And I think that they should have power over what they're putting out and what they're creating. So, you know, I'm with both of you guys. Well, all of us, if we all agree that, like, yeah, fuck it. If that makes her, them, I think it's her that, I don't know.
They.
Her, they, she, they, Halsey. If
it.
that's what makes Halsey happy, like, fuck yeah, that's awesome. And I'm all for it.
Especially when it comes to some social media stuff. Like, don't tell me how to run my social media. Like, you want to release my record a certain way that I maybe I don't have control over is one thing, but don't tell me like I got to now do like this whole TikTok thing.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, that's silly anyway. Like, it could get real silly. So yeah, listen, I'd love to see some more great music by her.
So much money for the company too. It's like,
it's like anybody ever see Begin Again? That's a great movie about the, I don't know how you know, maybe Dominic can be attest to how accurate that is, but Begin Again with Keira Knightley, and Mark Ruffalo, where basically like, well, you get $1 per record. So like, she's like, well, I did the music, I did like, why should you get 9 out of my $10? And it just shows you the hypocrisy of the music business.
That's the whole problem with the record companies that I have is and especially with the deal they have with Spotify. I mean, according to Spotify are paying out. So it's the record companies that are not distributing money properly, because they're like, well, we've got all this money and how could we possibly know how to distribute fairly? I guess we'll keep it. Like, it's so messed up.
It's ridiculous.
That's a topic for another day.
All right. Guys, let's talk a little. Let's talk about debate topic number 3. We're going to talk about some expansion with the NBA. If the NBA expanded, where are some cities that could really use an NBA team? I actually have 2 cities that have had NBA teams before that I think would be worthy of having an NBA team again. But let's start down there. You know, Allie, you work with the Brooklyn Nets. So let's go, since you have some insight to the NBA. Let's go. We'll start with you. Give me 2 cities you think really deserve an NBA franchise and that you think would do well.
Let's have one more in good old Canada. Why not? All they have is the Raptors, and I feel like, wow, that's great. It's a great franchise. Why not have another one? And also, I don't know, kind of on the spot here. I'm
Vegas.
just gonna stick with one for now. What do you think, Katrina?
Well,
I think Vegas.
she just wants more hot athletes in the city. That's that she.
I mean, why
represents.
not?
Oh,
So
yeah,
that's-
why not? I didn't even think
Don't
about
we
that.
all,
Totally.
Gene?
So does Matt. Matt wants more. Matt. That's why Matt wants a Vancouver team, more hot athletes from the hang out with.
Yeah, of course.
Hey, I didn't judge. Yeah, let's go.
So do we? So what do we say? If we're gonna say
And if they wear crop tops.
crop top, yeah, like Russell Westbrook, just roll that jersey up. Hike those shorts up a bit, Russ. So where we think? We think in Montreal. Or we think in Vancouver? Because Vancouver had one. Vancouver was actually one of my picks. I thought Vancouver.
Me too.
It's such a good city. It's such a solid city. I don't know. I guess I don't know why it didn't work in the first place with the Grizzlies. I know the Grizzlies were
horrendously run.
I was saying they weren't good until they got to Memphis, and maybe that's part of the reason why they couldn't handle
every decision they made. Like they didn't get better. They were like a 13 to 20 win team for like 7 years. So eventually the fan base is like, oh, cool. We're just not going to come here anymore.
Yeah.
And Vancouver's kind of like that with their sports a little bit with the Canucks too. Like when the team isn't very good, they don't sell out. They still get, a lot more fans than a lot of other hockey cities, but it's not quite like Toronto or a big city like that. But I mean, if you put a good team here, the city will champion around it. Like when the Raptors were in the finals, every bar in Vancouver was cranked. Every bar.
Because they represent the whole country at that point.
Yeah. So there is a need for it. And I'm going to throw out, I don't know if it's my turn, but I'm throwing out another one, which is like the biggest no-brainer. And I can't believe it hasn't happened yet. Seattle.
Yeah, that's Vancouver and Seattle. My two picks. Seattle for sure. That is such
an NBA town. That is such an NBA town. And they got the new arena that the Kraken play in, which I've been to a couple times, and it's sick. It's so nasty. So that's just the no-brainer for me. That's got to happen.
I mean, I know the Sonics were there and they left, but it's not like they didn't. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't really remember. Did they not support the Sonics that much, or did the Sonics just have a better deal moving to a new place to be in Oklahoma City? Was it a stadium situation, or was it just no support?
It was a new owner. It was a new owner.
Is that what it was? A new owner?
Yeah.
I think Seattle, like you said, they love their NBA in Seattle. They're still big NBA fans. They never should have. They always had good teams. They never should have lost their team in the first place. Listen, Oklahoma City, they've done a great job supporting that team there too. So maybe they should definitely deserve a team. But I think Seattle definitely. I don't get why it's taken this long for us to decide to put. I mean, we're still waiting to put a team back in Seattle. Yeah. Dom, where would you love to see the NBA represented in this country?
I was going to say Seattle too. I mean, I'm glad that Bulmer didn't take my clips out there because that would have stopped.
Was there rumors of that happening at one point?
Yeah. When he first bought the team, everyone was saying, "Oh, he loves Seattle. He's going to take him there." But thankfully, he didn't.
Would you still be a Clippers fan if he did?
Yeah,
just from Seattle. So,
but at the time, I was season ticket holder. I was like, no, don't do that. Don't do that. But yeah, I think Seattle deserve a team. I'm with Kat. I'll go Vegas. I think more likely to a new franchise to succeed in Vegas than you would in Canada, probably.
We've got the money. We've got new stadiums. We've got everything you need.
And it would be a hell of a home court advantage. The same way Miami is a tough place for road teams to come and play and hang out for, like they.
Oh yeah.
Same thing in Vegas. There's a lot of trouble for road teams to get.
However, I don't know if that NBA team is going to go. The players are going to survive Vegas. I think.
Yeah,
that's probably a recipe for disaster.
Unless they do what the hockey team does. When the hockey teams go play in Vegas, they always stay off the strip.
That's what you got to do.
You stay 30 to 40 minutes out, to avoid that kind of shit. But Vegas that's also a no-brainer, just because.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, they've done it.
So we got
hockey.
We got some votes for Vegas, Seattle, Vancouver.
Vancouver's my biased opinion, just because I would like to go to basketball games. I mean, if I'm still living here, anyways. But the two most successful ones, I think, would be Vegas and Seattle.
I agree. I can see it. Now, I didn't say Vancouver just because I would love to see them get another shot. Like you said before, Vancouver. Unfortunately, the Grizzlies were horrendous the whole time they were in Vancouver. I don't think they've never even hit 500 in Vancouver, correct?
Not even close, dude.
So that's what I'm saying. They were always a lottery pick. And they never picked good either. They always picked like busts every year.
They fucked it up. Then they had that Steve Francis trade because he refused to play in Canada when that didn't really work out. And they, Big Country Reeves That didn't work out. Although he had 1 year where it's like, oh, okay, he could be a football player. They just kind of dropped the ball all over the place, unfortunately.
And I think at the time too, it was tough for the Raptors in the beginning too, because you're right, it's tough getting people to want to go play in Canada. But I think the Raptors have set a nice, have put together a nice model to follow as another Canadian team of what to do to build up that franchise. Ali, any ideas? So you had a little bit of time. Any idea on the second one, or do you agree with one of these other ones?
Yeah, so I was thinking Vegas. I'm glad Katrina said that, but Seattle I didn't think of at all, and it makes complete sense. I again would love to see something else in Canada just because there's only the Raptors. But what would be the most practical and what we can kind of build, I think, quicker, since these spaces already have arenas, is for sure Seattle and Vegas, and there'd be so much money in Vegas. And I mean, yeah, it makes so much sense that I actually can't believe we don't even have franchises out there right now.
I think now that sports betting is becoming such a norm, I think at the time the Vegas didn't have any franchises because I think because of the sports betting thing, and it was like you could bet it, but here's the thing: you can bet anywhere in the country, really. I mean, like you could really bet anywhere. So really, even before, like, whether it was legally or illegally, you could bet everywhere. Like there was never a spot you couldn't really bet. So to say, oh, we can't put a team in Vegas, that was more of, I think, lip service than it was the real, like, oh, we can't put there because we're afraid of gambling being involved in too much. Like you can gamble in New York just as easy as you can. Well, maybe not as easy, but I'm sure Ali attests, you're from New York. We can gamble even before FanDuel and DraftKings. You could gamble pretty easily in New York. You could find somebody. You could find a friend of a friend.
I will say, when Jersey had it first, it was very funny watching my fiance place his bets, going to like MetLife or whatever, and then not being able to cash it until he went back to Jersey. And so I was like, he would literally have to go see his friend, on the weekend in Hoboken just to be able to.
I would have to, when I was living in Florida, I couldn't gamble in Florida, even on my DraftKings. I would have to have somebody. I would at the time I actually had to have someone like place bets for me in New York because
you got to have a guy.
I had to have a guy. So it didn't work out in Florida either because they seem to still think gambling isn't good for, even though the money is there to prove
it.
Among so many other things that we disagree on in Florida.
There's a reason why they call it Florida guy, right? So a Florida man. So there's a reason why that exists. So all right. Police say Drake Bell threatened suicide on 911 calls reveal. I'm glad they found him. It looked like it has him do with his ex. He looks like he's safe and sound now, though, and hopefully he gets the help he needs. Ali, Drake Bell fan?
You know what? I watched all the things. My little sister's 10 years younger, so like iCarly. I was just kind of coming up during that time when those shows were out. So I feel like there's so much potential for him. And I feel like Katrina, you'll definitely be able to speak on this too. But and then all of a sudden he just like got into a little bit of trouble here legally, goes down to Mexico, becomes a pop star in Mexico, fluent Spanish, puts all this music out in Spanish. Just like, wait, okay, that's interesting, good for him. And now this, and unfortunately, I think he downplayed it a lot more than what the actual incident was. And I know that he was like, oh, all this just for me because I didn't have my phone, when really there was so much more to it. And I know he, attempted suicide or like threatened it. And so it is very scary to try to figure out what's going on in his brain. But so even though, yes, Gene, like he may seem okay, I don't think he's okay at all. Obviously, he needs to get some help in some capacity. So hopefully he does, because he really is talented in some ways. I don't know.
I was, to be honest with you, I was surprised that he didn't really become that like a front row star as an adult as he was, as a child. I was surprised he wasn't able to make the transition.
He got into sexual allegations and
he had some troubles with some young girls. He couldn't.
So don't be surprised. He went to Mexico because of that. So,
so what's your thoughts on it, Katrina?
I mean, I'm a mixed bag. So I used to know him. We used to see each other at all the events, and I used to think he was, I still think he's a nice guy, although those allegations are pretty
But he was
scary.
never convicted of anything, if I remember correctly, right?
Right, but there was a trail. There was a trail.
Okay.
There were text messages, photos.
Enough
there
smoke.
was,
Enough. So
yeah,
basically, you said before, enough smoke. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not aware of it then, so I apologize.
I'm personally happy that he was able to go reinvent himself in Mexico, and he was pretty good at the Spanish. I thought he was all very good at that. I think he's really talented, but I think it's a shame. I think he's really going through some things.
Yeah.
And I think he should probably relocate.
No.
I think he doesn't do well here. Go back to Mexico.
South.
Go live in Latin America. Go somewhere else.
Maybe Brazil this time around. Like Latin America seems to work.
They love him. He do better over there, I think. And I think he is less prone to crumble under pressure somewhere else.
Fair enough. All right, so let's get into a little more football. Nick Caserio denies he's going to leave the Texans after the draft. Matt, should he just leave after the draft? It's been a pretty shitty run for him in Houston.
I mean, hasn't been great there. I can't imagine it's going to be good anytime soon. So that, is it a sinking ship or is that ship already sunk?
It's already sunk, and I think it's Titanic worthy, where it's like it's going to cause more trouble at the bottom of the reef than being down there. They've given him so much more of a leash than most other GMs ever get in a whole career. He's hired. This is his third coach. He hired David Culley, the first coach he had. Then he fired him after 1 year. Brought in Lovie-Smith, fired him after 1 year. Brings in DeMeco Ryans, which I think is a good choice. I think DeMeco Ryans is going to be a fantastic coach as long as you give him stuff to work with. But even if you look at his draft picks, right? He's got one guy out of 2 years worth of drafts you could say is a good player, and that's Dameon Pierce, the running back they got in the fourth round. I mean, I listen. I wasn't expecting much for him. I picked him up with a scrap heap for my fantasy team, and he saved my season at one point. But when last year in the draft alone, you had the third pick overall. You had a chance to pick. You had the chance to pick Sauce Gardner. You picked a corner. You just picked, but you didn't. And you had so it wasn't even like it was like, all right, well, Sauce was picked fourth. 3 other teams could have picked Sauce, but you went with it. We're talking about a team that actually went cornerback, had the need at cornerback, and picked the wrong cornerback. That alone is a fireable offense, is it not?
That's a whiff. That's a big whiff. I mean, it's only 1 year out, but Sauce Gardner is he's a top 5 cornerback in the league already. I can't. They have the second pick this year. It's not a great I know we've talked about this before, but it's not like there's going to be. Every quarterback has question marks.
I don't think he's a stud in the draft. I think this guy's with high ceilings. I don't think there's any surefire picks in the draft.
Yeah. So get the fuck out of there. Leave. Jump ship.
Maybe go back to New England and ride on the coattails of Belichick, which is what you did in the first place to get to the job you're at now. Yeah. It's easy to look good when you're with Bill. Katrina, I see you shaking the head. Time to go?
No, get out of there and go back to Belichick. You could do no wrong there. It's safe.
No. It's easy to fly under the radar. Allie, what do you think?
Sure. I do want to talk a little bit about the Pats, though. But go there. And now with the new, there's going to be a new coach, right?
I mean,
a new offensive kind of minded, or at least an offensive coordinator, something, because they
had a defensive coordinator last year. Yeah, they used an old defensive coordinator to be offensive coordinator last year.
Okay. So go back. You can do no wrong, because hopefully the team will be much better this upcoming season anyway. So get out of the sinking ship, get out of the Titanic. Even though I love that movie.
And it's weird, to see a team fire a GM or for GM to leave after the draft, which looks like they're waiting. I think the last time that happened was the Jets with Mike McCagnon, and they brought in the guy they have now, Joe Douglas. That was the last time that a team fired their GM after the draft, which to me is ridiculous. The Knicks did it, I believe, with Phil Jackson. I think Phil Jackson left after the draft. I don't understand any reason in any way, shape, or form you let your GM that you plan on getting rid of anyway finish the draft. I feel like if I'm the guy that's drafting a team, I'm probably saying, let me screw these guys, because I don't really care. I'm going to go out the door with guns blazing. So Nick Caserio, I think you should do yourself a favor and get out of town. Whether it's them or if it's just the Houston Texans being a shit show, it's one or the other. But it's not working either way, right? All right, what else we got? We got 49ers quarterback Brock Purdy taking elbow, recovering 1 day at a time. I mean, what do we think? I mean, could he lose the job by taking it 1 day at a time? and not being, I mean, they bring in. They got the kid they drafted a few years ago. They just brought Sam Darnold, who, let's face it, that's a good offensive system for a lot of quarterbacks, right? A lot of quarterbacks can go there and look good. What if Darnold goes there and impresses under that Shanahan offense? He could lose his shot. No. Yeah,
Shanahan doesn't need a quarterback.
No, well, I mean, I think Allie could go back there and play pretty well with Shanahan.
Jimmy G,
put her in.
Everyone's it's the vote's still out on Trey Lance is because obviously he got hurt last year and he didn't look great before that either. So, but he's a freak athlete too. Mm-hmm. And then
got to stay healthy though. He's been hurt a lot.
I think Darnold isn't a good quarterback, but Shanahan seems to not like. Brock Purdy was the last pick in the draft, and he was their third string or fourth string quarterback, and he looked really good. There's so many weapons there, and there's so many safety valves for a quarterback where you don't have to, if you can't throw it downfield, you have Christian McCaffrey on a screen or Deebo Samuel on the flat or George Kittle releasing up the middle. Like there's so many good options for a new quarterback that I don't think it matters, but
I agree. I would like to see. Listen, I'm open to seeing Sam Darnold actually turn around his career. I think he never had a fair shake in New York with the Jets. I think he's better than what he had the ability to do. They never really built the team around him. They kind of let him flounder a little bit. They didn't do a good job putting weapons around him. It wasn't until Zach got here that they said, "Oh wait, you know what we should do? We should get weapons. We should get some receivers and some running backs and stuff." I don't know why you don't do that whenever you have a young quarterback. But that Mike Shanahan offense it just seems like I don't know who could go there and play. It seems like everybody they just plug in is good in this offense, and it makes me think, why doesn't every team run a form of that same offense? Because it seems like all quarterbacks look at least half decent in Shanahan's offense.
Well, it's easier when you have like 4 stud skill position players. Like I mentioned the guys before. I didn't even mention Brandon Ayuk. Plus
Brandon Ayuk's good. He's all right.
Plus, they have
Deebo,
an endless supply of running backs who run like a 4.2 40.
They're good at getting running backs late in the draft. They seem to always be able to get somebody out of third, fourth,
and they're
fifth round.
always so fast.
Jordan Mason was the one they got. Like, was it last year? Jordan Mason was the guy they got last year, and he's a big guy, and but runs fast.
Yeah.
They just seem to always Shanahan, whether he knows how to find guys deep in the draft or whatever it is. They just seem to always be able to put something together on offense. But do we think Brock Purdy is a fluke? Was that last year just like lightning in a bottle?
Oh fuck, I don't know. I honestly couldn't tell you. It's been only he only played what?
6 games? I think 6, 7 games.
Yeah, 6, 8 games. So, God,
we'll see.
It's a lot of Tom Brady vibes. Like
it was very Joe Cool-esque type stuff, right? Not really getting under the pressure of it. So
I liked a lot of them, but who knows? I think it's way too early to say.
I get you. All right, 2 more things we're gonna go over real quick. Sean Kemp charged with assault. Back to the that shooting back in March. Speaking of Seattle basketball, anybody have anything to say about Sean Kemp, or are we saying Sean Kemp who? Because it's been like 30 years since he's actually been in the news. Other than this,
I feel like a great look.
It's not a good.
Give us a recap of the story, because I mean his defense attorney is very obviously very certain that once they have the full image and picture of what really happened, then everyone's going to be convinced it was defense. So I don't know.
It was over a stolen. It was over defense. It was over a stolen cell phone outside of the Tacoma Mall in the parking lot.
Okay.
And he fired a gun. So he didn't actually like hit anybody with the gun, from what I can understand. But yeah. So I mean, this is it's going to be first degree assault. Again, speaking of Seattle basketball, Sean Kemp, who was like an all-time Sonic at the time, is in the news. To be honest with you, I think it's ho-hum. Hopefully Sean Kemp gets the help he needs, because obviously he has got a little bit of an anger issue. It was just a cell phone, buddy. Like, relax. So, any thoughts? Anyone?
Well,
you're shooting in general for that. You're guilty of something.
He had some shit on that phone.
Some photos or videos or something, right?
He was doing things he shouldn't have been doing on camera, on video, and he didn't want that to get released. He's like, screw it, I'd rather go to jail.
Yeah. Like, my OnlyFans is gonna be public.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man, God forbid.
Dom,
People are gonna see what I like. Mm-hmm.
Dom, do you remember Sean Kemp? Were you a basketball fan back then?
I mean, I've watching reruns. I mean, I've seen him play, but yeah, that was before my time.
I was gonna say, I don't know. If, he was a while ago.
When was the incident?
In March.
Oh, okay.
So it wasn't that long ago. It was a couple months ago. So yeah, but over a stolen cell phone.
Yeah, that's not normal.
Yeah. All right, and then the last one. Elijah Wood has concerns about the new Lord of the Rings movies.
As he
Dom.
should.
I was gonna go there. Dom, shouldn't he be concerned?
He should.
What's your take on it?
Well, it's the same story, innit? With us, Gene. You want all the remakes. I don't want any of the remakes. Let's just leave them alone. It's just Hollywood. Please stop it. Stop it.
To be fair and to be upfront, I don't want a remake of the Lord of the Rings. I don't want new Lord of the Rings movies.
There's a series going on right now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We spend the most money in history on a television series,
and it was good.
And then we're gonna go make movies.
Leave it. Yeah.
Was the series like? I never seen it. I was never into the Lord of the Rings to begin with, so I didn't see the series. I had no desire to see the series. It was actually Lord of the Rings is one of the reasons why I was a late start to Game of Thrones, because I felt like it was the same kind of genre. So I missed out on the Game of Thrones for like the first 2 years, thinking it was just gonna be like a Lord of the Rings kind of a thing, and it turned out to be a lot better than Lord of the Rings. So I was never a Lord of the Rings guy. Allie, tell us what you thought about the series.
Yeah, so I was never a Lord of the Rings person either, and I was obsessed with Game of Thrones, but I can see myself liking the world and liking Lord of the Rings just because of what I like. But yeah, I like the series. I watched it without really any prior knowledge of, the details of Lord of the Rings, but my fiance is very plugged in like to the movie world and everything. So he just had it on. I would just watch it when he had it on. But I thought it was really good from an outsider, like I don't really know what's happening, but I'm captivated. It seems to be good from people who knew Lord of the Rings and liked it. I heard great things about the show and how they enjoyed it. So that's good. And I think now that's it. Leave it. Why things always get ruined when it's just multiple of them, except for Scream 6, given what it is. That was actually pretty good. But it's like you're passing the movies and you see Shazam 2, John Wick 4, Scream 6. It's like, where is the originality? Like what?
John Wick 4 is so sick.
John Wick 4 is amazing.
John Wick 4
I haven't seen it, and I won't pass it. I would see it. But I'm just saying, like, an example of, everything out is just a sequel or,
remakes or reboots.
Oh, yeah. Man. Well, to your point, Allie, like this month, like all the big movies were like, Shazam bombed, but it was like John Wick, Creed 3.
Yeah.
Creed 3 was good.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was just all like it was that March was a sequel city.
Sequel bonanza. Matt, were you a Lord of the Rings nerd?
Yeah. I read the books after the movies.
What a geek.
I know. Well, I didn't want actually that's not true. I read 2 of them before the movies.
There we go.
Okay.
That's a good nerd.
Yeah. Yeah, they were
definitely
awesome.
That's more nerdy to read it like, when you're a kid.
Yeah.
It's definitely more nerdy to read Lord of the Rings because they're like this. I mean,
oh man, they're pretty dense.
Cool,
yeah, I didn't even watch the series because I didn't watch the Hobbit movies either because I was like,
The original trilogy you were into?
I fucking loved it. Yeah, saw it in theaters. Everyone.
So is Elijah Wood worthy of? Is his concern worthy?
Well,
or are you here for it?
Listen, I don't think it necessarily means it's going to be bad if they're going to redo it. Because there's been cases where where that stuff has worked out, but it does kind of reek of a cash grab.
Because also, here's my thought on it, and I'll get right back to you. Is it's way too soon. I mean, 15 years ago? Like, when was the last Lord of the Rings? It wasn't that long ago. We need a remake yet.
Yeah, 2004.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, that's all right. So maybe it's like 2000. All right, so it's about 20 years, but still,
whatever it was. Yeah,
but still, 20 years isn't a long enough time, I think, to get to warrant a remake.
Yeah. Yeah,
did it with Star Wars and look what happened. So,
but they didn't do remakes on Star Wars. They just did more movies.
Well, they kind of did. The Force Awakens is like a beat by beat, like remake of Star Wars, the first Star Wars, A New Hope, whatever. So it kind of is a remake.
I think that's more like picking on it a little bit. I don't find it to be that much, but I hear what you're saying. Yeah. Katrina, what's your thoughts on Lord of the Rings?
I mean,
I feel like you're reading the books currently. Are you not?
No.
But
I think Elijah Wood is absolutely correct. He said that he's scared that the studio is just doing it for the money and not to make art. I think he's absolutely right. I think they hit it out of the park the first time. I don't think they're going to get all those billions. I don't think they're going to get another 17 Oscars.
No.
I don't think it's possible. I think it's been done. Leave it.
Oh, look at that. Patty Puddles actually came up with a footnote. There we go.
There we go.
Was that the first one came out in 2002?
Was that the first one? Patty's shaking his head. Yes, the first one came out in 2002. Yeah. So that means the last one came out at least a good 3 years later. So, so there's that. Listen, I'd be okay with it if they. Again, I wasn't into it, so I wasn't into those movies. So I guess it's unfair for me to say, but I would understand it more if it was continuations or new stories in that universe.
Yeah.
But to do remakes of it to me is like it's too soon. I mean, like
I agree. Yeah.
Like the same actors could probably still play those roles with CGI anyway. So like, what are we really remaking at that point? Mm-hmm. But anyway, that's that, guys. That's gonna do the show for today. We're actually hitting the 2:00 mark now. Let's go around. Last words of the day, Katrina. What's your last word of the day?
Bring the NBA to Vegas.
I love it. Dom, what's your last word of the day?
Go Clips.
Go Clips. Allie?
I don't know. Get outside if you can. I know it's kind of gross.
I don't think it's gross in New York.
Get a little bit of vitamin D. Get your little your moment of joy from your day to extract that, and just
And next Friday, Taco Tuesday in Freeport.
Woo!
We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it next week when you're back next week.
It's gonna be amazing.
Double fisting margaritas. How about some Modelo? Are they gonna have Modelo?
You gotta come.
I'm gonna find out. I'll have to find out.
I don't know.
Matt, last words.
My last words are: Go Leafs! Go Game 1 playoffs tonight. Let's go! Fuck you, Tampa.
Yeah, Tampa. F you. I'll tone it down and say F you. And F you, Philly. I love the cheesesteaks, but that's all I'm there for is the cheesesteaks.
And let's go Rangers while I'm at it. Because,
let's go Rangers. We're actually going to, and guys, tune in tomorrow. We'll be talking a little hockey, I think, on Friday. Matt, maybe I don't know if you remember. I know I sent you the thing. I think Friday we're talking a little Boston Bruins. So we'll have a little NHL coming up this week. Tomorrow we'll also have some recaps of the NBA. So make sure you tune in tomorrow with some more NBA, NFL, Hollywood news. We'll be touching on baseball soon too. Probably another week before we really get into some baseball. So we will bring baseball to the mix. I know Matt's got some Toronto Blue Jays stuff. I'm sure he's gonna want to talk about his Blue Jays. I'm gonna want to talk some Yankees and Dom maybe still doesn't want to talk about the Dodgers or lack thereof a bullpen.
No, I'll talk about the Dodgers all day. I just
please fix that bullpen. I get it, guys. Come on. For Katrina, Dom, Allie, and Matt, I'm Gene. Have a great tonight. Oh, great today. A better tonight. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.
That's the pop off for today, folks. Thank you to all of our listeners, as well as our producers, Patty Puddles and Fareed Kameo. And make sure you tune in tomorrow to hear what these hooligans will pop off about next.